What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty, and welcome to another amazing video. You can follow me on Patreon for exclusive stories. 3 Astronomical Units Chapter 61 Kill Rear Admiral. The audience is dead. The people of the world who are equally engrossed with them are the people of the world. After the amazing scene just now, the incident is not over. There is also Rear Admiral from the headquarter. Now it seems that the Rear Admiral from the headquarter was not given by this powerful weapon at all. Frightened, they still decided to continue to work on Orovia and the others. They watched the live broadcast closely, not daring to let go of a single bit. Ronan, who was confronting Zephyr Garp at the moment, suddenly twitched his mouth, revealing a mysterious smile. At the same time, Subuti's figure appeared on the right side of Orovia. He did not choose to shoot Orovia, but instead shot to Elena on the right side of Orovia, grabbing as soon as he appeared toward Jelena's arm, trying to pull it over. His idea is not complicated. The horrible and dangerous long knife made him afraid to face Orovia directly. If he did that, if the knife broke out again, it would be a small thing for him to die by the knife. It's a big deal to fail to complete the task. So after a brief consideration, he instantly decided to use one of the opponents as a bargaining chip to force Orovia to submit. As long as Elena is caught by him, he can threaten Elena's life and make himself invincible. As long as Orovia and others care about Jelena's safety, his plan will succeed. However, laugh. Just when his palm was about to touch Jelena's arm, a sword light shone from the long blade of Orovia's hand. Jianmang is invincible, passing vertically and horizontally. Snorted. Click. One of Subuti's arm broke and fell. At that moment, he didn't even feel the pain in his arm. After the arm fell to the ground, he felt a severe pain passing from his arm to his mind, making him stare. Crying, gritted his teeth, turned his head in horror and looked in the direction of Orovia. Why? How is it possible? The reaction is so fast. What the hell is going on? What is the situation with this knife? Could it be that Ronan is in control? Subuti endured the pain and couldn't help shouting, but he couldn't help but doubt it, because this Orovia didn't know how to use a sword at all. How could it be possible to control such a terrifying knife? Then, the only reason was that terrifying Luo, south. Orovia was also a little dazed at the moment. She hadn't reacted just now. She saw the sword light flashed in her hand, and then she pointed out her side. The arm fell, and retreated violently, all in one go. Advertisement. All this happened so quickly, she couldn't react at all. Don't talk about her. Robin and others behind him couldn't react either. At this moment, he looked at Sabti, who had broken his arm and retreated with horror, and pulled Elena over to see if she was injured until they saw it. She let go of her heart only after she didn't suffer the slightest harm. I just said, Mr. Rear Admiral, with this knife Ronan gave me, you will never hurt us. At this moment, Orovia really has full confidence in the knife Ronan gave her. Sabti is strong. When attacking, he can't even touch his shadow, but it doesn't matter. With this knife in his hand, it simply don't need to worry about her. Subuti can't hurt them no matter how powerful they are. The other girls had the same idea. They looked at Zanpakuto with scorching eyes. This knife was too powerful, and Ronan was really too powerful. I am not here yet. Just leaving a knife makes him powerful. Naval Headquarters Rear Admiral is difficult to make progress. It is indeed Ronan who is called the son of the devil by the world government. Damn it. Subuti has a hideous face. At this moment, he is about to collapse. He is very angry and stares fiercely at Orovia and Zanpakuto in her hand. Without this knife, he can definitely complete the task smoothly. It is a pity that he really can't do it. Is it a task? Do not. I still have a chance. Subuti suddenly cheered up, took a deep breath, his face calmed down again, and then he whispered, you forced me. Subuti's low shout made Orovia and the others look shocked, and they quickly looked at him cautiously again, in case he had any other means. Subuti does have a hole card. The reason why it is useless is because the image is too bad. This is being broadcast live in the world. He doesn't care, but he can't damage the image of Marine. Drink. Subuti snorted. His body shape began to change rapidly, his body became slender, his head began to deform, and even a tail appeared behind him. It was the ability of Devil Fruit, and it seemed that it should be the ability of Zone. After some changes, Subuti turned into a half-human half-animal with a weasel head and tail. No wonder he was reluctant to use Devil Fruit's abilities before. A Marine Rear Admiral who was proud of justice had turned into a weasel, which was indeed detrimental to his image, but he couldn't take care of it now, and completing the task was the most important thing. Advertisement. This time, how can I see you blocking me? Shave. Subuti, who turned into a weasel, said in a low voice. His voice became a lot thinner, unpleasant and weird, and when the voice fell, his figure suddenly turned towards leaning forward, his body quickly disappeared, leaving only the sound of stepping on the ground slowly. Under the blessing of Marine's vertical shaver, Subuti's movement speed is even more terrifying. Even when his body moves, even the phantom is not left behind, and directly disappears in the field. It's too fast. He didn't even blink, he already appeared in front of Robin. Robin was guarding Elena who was in distress just now, and Subuti was using her as a bargaining chip now, because he knew that Robin is Orovia's biological daughter, holding Robin in her hand, not afraid that the other party will not compromise. Just when he was about to succeed, he had been paying attention to Orovia's side, or Zanpakuto's side that he had been paying attention to all the time. The sword light flashed, and a biting sword light had flown over, and the speed was also extremely fast. Even faster. Damn it, come back. Subuti was extremely angry, and then a fierce touch suddenly appeared in the bloodshot eyes. Finger pistol. I don't believe you are invincible. Subhuti directly used the powerful offensive skill of Marine 6 styles, Finger Pistol, to counter the sword light cut by Zanpakuto Rinku. However, it turned out. Laugh. There was still an inaudible sneer, and the ending was destined, and this time Subhuti was not as lucky as before, but it was as simple as having a hand cut off. The sword light flashed, and he directly cut the remaining hand of Subhuti. Without diminishing the light, the sword light continued to move forward, directly cutting Subhuti's whole person in half, and even the internal organs were shattered. The dominance of the sword light is fully revealed. Hiss. Seeing such a tragic ending for Subhuti, not only the people present, but also the reporters who were not far away carrying the camera took a breath, each of them stared as if they were a ghost, and looked at Oro with chills in their hearts. With the long knife in the hands of Via, for a while, the audience fell into dead silence again, and the people all over the world who were watching the battle through the lens together fell into dead silence. Chapter 62 No Solution. Ronan is famous all over the world. That's amazing. What kind of knife is this knife? It can be seen that this knife is indeed very powerful, but from the words of the Rear Admiral just now, we can know that Ronan is controlling this knife. Yes, so that Ronan is too powerful. He can control a knife to kill people at such a distance. He is facing a Rear Admiral from Naval Headquarters. To be honest, this Rear Admiral is already very powerful. He finally, however, he used Devil Fruit's ability to become a weasel, and his speed increased again, but unfortunately, he was still not the opponent of this knife and was cut in half with a single knife. This Marine Rear Admiral failed. Marine's wishful thinking failed. What should they do now? Yeah, what should they do next? They couldn't beat Ronan face to face, and the crooked idea hit Ronan's companion but was cracked. What else can they do to capture Ronan? Difficult, too difficult. I feel that 2 Admiral-class combat powers are simply not enough to capture Ronan. Should I send all other Admiral? Or Marshal Kong himself? What do you think? Marshal Kong shot himself. What if he fails again? Neither Marine nor the world government can accept that ending. Well, if that's the case, what is Marine going to do next? I want to take a closer look. Hey, I want to take a good look too. Among the people who talk about it, there are people from franchise countries, people from scattered islands, people on the Red Line, and people from all over the world. Of course, the pirates on the Grand Line are indispensable. There are all kinds of people. However, since this live broadcast has been played, whether it is ordinary people or big pirates, they all want to see what other tactics the Marines can use to deal with Ronan in such an extremely unfavorable situation. Anyone with a discerning eye can now see that Ronan can no longer contain it. Once Marine retreats this time, Ronan will be able to walk sideways regardless of whether it is the Four Seas or the New World. What? Do you say that New World has those top big pirates and major underground kings? There is a Morgans at the scene. Go and ask Morgans, do you dare to say something in front of Ronan? At the scene, Morgans watched the terrifying live broadcast ratings with a look of ecstasy and kept rubbing his hands and walking back and forth. This Ronan is really my big lucky star. This live broadcast is really making a lot of money. This time, the World Economic News has absolutely caused a sensation in the world. Even people who didn't know our newspaper in some remote places before, now they almost know all about it. If you make a lot of money, you will make a lot of money. Then, looking at the live broadcast, Morgans couldn't help but marvel at the figure of a child standing proudly floating in the air, carrying his hands on his back, and standing proudly in the world. Advertisement. This Ronan is absolutely not to be provoked, absolutely not to be provoked. Morgans solemnly said in his heart, not only can he not be provoked, but he must also try his best to please him. He will be a traffic machine in the future, not much better than that of the past. Roger and Rox are worse, and even more terrifying. After all, how old is he now? 11 years old, my god. There are such evil people in the world, horrible. Hiss. Not to mention that Morgans was frightened by Ronan's heaven-defying, and said that the faces of the two standing in front of and behind Ronan at the moment were extremely ugly. Damn it, Subhuti failed. Zephyr gritted his teeth and his face was sullen. Subhuti's failure was something he hadn't thought of before. It was normal. I am afraid that no one would think that Subhuti would fail. Subhuti's headquarters, Rear Admiral, a demon fruit power, possesses the deepest Marine 6 styles, and also brings dozens of extremely elite and heavily armed Marines, such a force to deal with a few weak women. There are 2 little girls among the few girls. Can this also fail? What a joke. Not to mention that the world government and naval headquarters are very confident about this. Even the countless people and pirates who watched the live broadcast did not report any hope for the ending of Orovia and other women. They felt that they were caught by Subhuti and his party. Coming to coerce Ronan into submission is basically a sure thing. However, what fell below the eyes of countless people was that they failed, and it was very miserable. The seamen were completely destroyed, and Rear Admiral Subhuti died tragically on the street. Zanpakuto came out, the sword spirit was vertical and horizontal, invincible, and the whole people were shocked. Zephyr is really crazy at this moment. How can there be such an unsolvable existence? He looked at Ronan's gaze, full of exhaustion. How can this be beaten? Garp, standing behind Ronan, is also a little tired at the moment. How to fight? How to fight next? Can't beat the key. The 2 of them used all means before. Even if they were the 2 great pirates of New World, they were confident to suppress them. However, facing Ronan, the 2 of them teamed up to fight Ronan alone, but they were suppressed, severely suppressed, almost. The beaten lose their temper. What else can they do? How to do? Zephyr and Garp looked at each other, and both saw the helplessness in each other's eyes. Advertisement at this time, Ronan, who was floating in the middle of the two, slowly opened his eyes. His eyes were extremely calm and indifferent, as if he was not fighting people, nor was it broadcast live under the eyes of people all over the world, but afternoon tea is generally calm and quiet. You stopped me here, is that the idea? Capture and Orovia and the others to coerce me? Ha ha ha. Ronan's calm and leisurely words were transmitted to everyone's ears through the live broadcast. The last smile, as if disdain for the other party, hit the hearts of marine generals and countless seamen who were watching the battle, making all of them look extremely ugly, gritted their teeth, and stared at the leisurely Ronan in the picture with the same angry eyes as if they were about to eat Ronan. Pity, they can only be so incompetent and furious. Even Garp and Zephyr, the two top forces in this division, are not Ronan opponents, let alone them. You said, did I kill you, or should I catch you? Pata, Ronan fell down, stepped on the ground, and took a step. With this step, Zephyr's complexion changed and he stepped back several steps in fright, which made all the spectators sigh. Marine is over. This. Zephyr Admiral was so scared, how could he fight Ronan? I can't beat it. From now on, above the sea, when the Marines face the pirates, it is estimated that there will be no more power to speak of. Ronan, son of the devil, a supreme overlord appeared again on the sea. At his current age, he will surpass Rox and One Piece Roger in the future. Indeed so, Ronan, son of the devil, will be my idol from now on. Also my idol. Ronan is invincible. Chapter 63. Marines wooing? Shichibukai's place? Marijoy, 5 Elders Conference Hall. The faces of the 5 world government leaders at the moment are not ugly, it is quite ugly, it is almost like dead parents. Damn, this Ronan is so difficult. The chunky 5 elders patted the table with excitement, trembling with anger, wishing to tear off the arrogant Ronan in the live broadcast. Hateful, this Ronan did this, but it made us lose face in front of the people of the world. The tall and thin 5 elders said gloomily, from now on, how majestic is my world government. It's not easy, it's really not easy, Gao Zhuang 5 elders said dully, looking at Ronan's appearance now, he doesn't plan to just retreat like this. It's normal. We send someone to deal with him, after the failure, he will definitely not be that easy to talk. 5 elders with a long knife in his arms suddenly said. The key is now, how do we deal with it? Zephyr and Garp definitely can't give up. Send a message to the headquarters and let them talk to Ronan. Gao Zhuang 5 elders said in a deep voice, since the arrest operation has failed and it is irreversible, it must be guaranteed. The safe return of Zephyr and Garp, you can talk about any conditions. Hey, I have an idea. Suddenly, the tall and thin 5 elders touched his chin and said, didn't we launch the Shichibukai plan? There are already many big pirates who have joined the Shichibukai ranks. Then, do you think Ronan should be given one? How about the quota? Oh, this. Good idea. I'm afraid this guy is unwilling. Try it, you can give it a try. If you don't want it, there is nothing to lose. Once he agrees to join Shichibukai, that's the sharpest weapon in our hands. The 5 elders suddenly brightened their eyes and felt that this was really a perfect idea. Naval headquarters could use various advantages to pull Ronan into Shichibukai. Once he became Shichibukai, even if Ronan would not listen to the order in the future, will also belong to the power of the world government in name. This is a huge blow to the pirate power. Ever since, the news was quickly passed to naval headquarters. Kong connected to the phone personally, and his eyes brightened instantly. To say that in this arrest operation against Ronan, the party who lost the most, it is definitely not Marine. The capture of Ronan failed, and at the same time, Subuti's actions would put Marine on fire. People all over the world are waiting for the headquarters to give an explanation. But that's all afterwards, and now the most important thing is to ensure the safety of Garp and Zephyr. Although he has some confidence in the strength of the two, he can't win Ronan. Can't they escape from Rain Island? But this kind of thing cannot be bet on. He has already raised 100,000 points of vigilance against Ronan, and he is also afraid that this guy has any cards. If Zephyr and Garp are killed, it will be another match for Marine. A major blow was even bigger than the failure to capture Ronan. Garp is a Marine hero, and Zephyr is also a Marine's teacher. The influence of the two is not to be trumpeted. It is really dead in Ronan's hands. Not to mention the pirates, even those who joined the country will feel that Marine has fallen. Advertisement. This is indeed the case. Once the two of them are really lost on the island of Reina, it is really a decline for Marine. In the future, the confidence of facing the big pirates in New World will be reduced a lot. The world does not know what to do. How many more unscrupulous new pirates came? The solution given by 5 elders this time is indeed a perfect solution. The key is now, can he really do it? Ronan can agree? What kind of superior conditions must be given to allow Ronan to agree? Kong was so sweaty that he couldn't figure out how to get Ronan to agree to this condition, and then he could only tell Sengoku Admiral, the Crane staff and others about the matter, so that they could also help think of a solution. Your Excellency Marshal, it's useless if we think more now. We might as well try Ronan's thoughts first, Crane staff officer said in a deep voice. The key is Rain Island. Now we can't wait. Ronan seems to be ready. Do it on Zephyr and Garp. Kong was shocked and looked at the live broadcast. As expected, Ronan was already moving on the live broadcast. Rain Island, above the street battlefield. Ronan took another step and walked towards Zephyr indifferently. Zephyr gritted his teeth and looked at Ronan sweaty. His right robotic arm had been damaged and his combat power was greatly reduced. At this moment, facing the tremendous pressure given by Ronan, it was unimaginable. Ronan, You have something to say, don't rush to do it. Not far behind Ronan, Garp frowned and rushed towards Zephyr, yelling for Ronan to stop. Not in a hurry. Ronan raised his brows. When you feel you want to do it, or stop it when you want to stop. It's all up to you. Is it really a bully for me, Ronan? This. Garp walked quickly to Zephyr's side and took on Zephyr's tremendous pressure from Ronan, causing Zephyr to take a long breath. Ronan, you have won. Our plan to capture you this time has failed. Garp said in a deep voice, we are willing to make way for you and your companions to leave the island of Reyna, but you can't treat me and Zephyr did it. You should know the identities of the two of us. If you moved us, you really offended Marie-Joy and Marineford. Haha, did you offend Marie-Joy and Marineford if you moved? Ronan heard the words and suddenly sneered. Then what I did before is not an offense. If it is not offended, then what did you do this time? Don't say anything about fooling children like this. Garp gaped, speechless. The people of the world who also heard this sentence through the live broadcast were equally speechless. Seeing Ronan's appearance in his 10 years, they shouted in their hearts. Are you a kid? Then everyone shook their heads and sighed, understanding that this matter could not be kind. Although Ronan was indeed a child, he could not be fooled by such words. It was obvious that Ronan's tough attitude did not intend to simply let it go. People left. However, they thought of Garp's words again. Zephyr and Garp were really not ordinary marine generals. Once Ronan really killed them, the consequences would be very serious. This is serious. It doesn't mean that Ronan is going to die. Ronan is not afraid, he is strong. You can't arrest him in such a layout as the world government and marine. No matter how many people you send, you can't pose a threat to Ronan. Advertisement. But once Marine lost the existence of Garp and Zephyr, for Marine, the sky would fall. For the world government, once the marine sky collapses, the more than 100 participating countries of the world government may become unstable, and then the whole world will be in chaos. The people looked at the live broadcast with concern, and frankly, they still agree with Marine. At least most of the Marines are the main force in defending the people everywhere and expelling the pirate groups, so they still hope that Zephyr and Garp will not get into trouble. And the pirates? At this moment, all the pirates stared at the live broadcast, their faces flushed red and shouted. Kill them! Kill them! Ha ha ha! Kill Garp and Zephyr! Kill both of them! Marine forces will be hit hard, and our era of pirates will come. Ronan, do it! Do it now, kill them and you will be the idol of all our pirates. Marine is over, world government is over, ha ha ha, let all celestial dragons eat shit. Overthrow the world government, overthrow the tyranny of celestial dragons. Just as Ronan and the two were about to fight again, Morgan suddenly received a call from Naval Headquarters Marineford. Hearing Sengoku Admiral's words on the phone, Morgan suddenly changed his complexion, and then showed an interested smile. Okay, leave it to me, I'll go and give them the phone worm now. Morgan smiled and walked towards the battlefield holding the phone worm. The two people who were about to do it again immediately turned their eyes to the birdman who had come suddenly. Morgans. Garp and Zephyr frowned when they saw Morganston, wondering how this guy suddenly appeared on the court. Ronan also turned his head and looked at Morgans, with no expression in his eyes, just glanced at him calmly, but stopped his slowly raised hand, wanting to see what this guy was going to do. 3. Marineford's call, Sengoku Admiral has something to say. Morgan smiled modestly at the three of them, then said with a wave of the phone worm in his hand. Chapter 64 Admiral Sengoku. When the negotiation is in progress. Sengoku? Garp and Zephyr looked at each other and moved in their hearts. This should be a countermeasure developed by the headquarters, right? Otherwise, Sengoku will not be allowed to talk to Ronan at this time. I just hope Ronan can talk better and let them go. Garp and Zephyr are not people who are afraid of death, but they know that their death is of great importance. The attack on Marine will hit the world government. It is impossible to imagine how much turmoil will be caused at that time. Ronan, since it's Sengoku's call, I think it's better for us to listen to it. Garp said gently to Ronan, as if not at all as if you were still fighting against each other before. We too are dead. Killing us will not benefit you much, is it? I think the headquarters and even the world government will definitely give you an explanation. All right. After thinking about it, Ronan nodded and said, then let me listen. How are you going to let me calm my anger? Indeed, Ronan also understood that although he was not afraid of the sky, not afraid of any enemies, but killing Garp and Zephyr, he did not have much benefit. In the end, it was the pirates who picked up the bargain, and he would be taken by the world government. First hate Marine completely. Although he doesn't care, Ronan also feels dissatisfied when he thinks that the big pirates are hiding behind and enjoying the great results of his hard fight. Ronan's positioning of himself is not a pirate, but an adventurer, a traveler who wanders around. He has not looted everywhere like a pirate. The reason why he confronted Marine is also the other party's problem. When the Buster Call fleet started, Marine took the initiative to provoke him many times later. Ronan felt that if he wanted to let Garp and Zephyr go by himself, the other party had to take advantage of what would satisfy him. In other words, you have to compensate tens of millions of Baileys in cash, right? Then other things, such as devil fruit, etc. How many more? Except for Robin, everyone in their team doesn't have devil fruit. This strength can't be improved. They don't even have the ability to protect themselves. If one day they are not by their side, they are hurt by someone who does not have long eyes. Ronan had already planned to open a big talk to the other lion for good. Over there, Morgans pleased him and smiled at Ronan. Then he did not dare to approach Ronan. Instead, he handed the phone worm to Garp, and then again. Ronan smiled and said, hello Ronan, my name is Morgans. Maybe you haven't heard of me, But the newsbird knows? World Economic News knows, right? I am the owner of this newspaper. Living in New World, when you arrive at New World in the future, I will treat you well. Morgans. Ronan raised his brows. It turned out that this birdman was Morgans. Thinking about this live broadcast of the world, he suddenly felt, and right, it is not unusual for Morgans, the newspaper owner, to come over in person for such a big thing. Advertisement. Well, if I have a chance in the future, I won't be polite to you. Ronan nodded towards Morgans and said. Upon hearing this, Morgunston was overjoyed and felt that his humility to please this time played a major role. This Ronan is not that difficult to talk. In the future, he has to hold this super thigh, and he can definitely put himself in New World. His position is more stable, at least if Ronan is standing for him, those big pirates will definitely not dare not give themselves face. Morgans now is far less stable than 10 years later, not even Whitebeard Kaido and others are still fighting for the turf. In the future, the red hair of one of the 4 emperors will only have a few small broken ships swaying at sea. As for the Dressrosa person, it is estimated that he is not well known at this moment. Business such as slaves in the black market has not been started, and the factory that fakes devil fruit is even less visible. If Morgans hugged Ronan's thigh at this moment, it would definitely be a big profit for him. After Morgans left, Garp took the phone worm and talked with Sengoku. Sengoku, this is Garp. Garp said in a deep voice, you probably know everything here, right? Yes, the headquarter has been paying attention to the situation on your side, and the live broadcast has not been interrupted. Sengoku said, paused and continued. Unexpectedly, this operation failed like this. Feeling the sad tone on Sengoku's side, Garp also showed a sad expression. Sengoku, you tell Marshal Kong, this operation failed is the responsibility of me and Zephyr. Do not. Sengoku over there interrupted Garp's words. It's also that we didn't think about it well. I didn't expect Ronan to be so difficult, but it's too late to say this. Let's find a way to make you two retreat. Is there any way at home? Garp cast a glance at Ronan and said in a low voice, I don't think Ronan is going to let us go so easily. What we did this time is indeed a bit unorthodox, even though Sabuti and the others are dead. Now, Ronan doesn't seem to be relieved. I also understood. Sengoku paused and said, well, let me talk to Ronan personally. We have already negotiated some conditions. When Garp heard this, he must be in his heart, holding the phone worm and walked to Ronan. Ronan, Sengoku Admiral from Naval Headquarters is talking to you. Hurry up and say anything. Ronan waved his hand and said, I'm in a hurry, don't make a fool of me. Advertisement. The corner of Garp's mouth twitched, but there was nothing he could do. He was now under the eaves and had to bow his head. Ronan, I'm Sengoku from Marineford Naval Headquarters. I know that the previous approach is a bit wrong, so let's do it, we are willing to compensate you for your loss. Sengoku's voice came from the phone worm, and his voice was serious. I hope you can let's forget the past and let the 2 marine generals leave, what do you think? As Sengoku, Ronan said, since I have promised you and agreed to talk to you, it does mean that I am willing to reconcile, but you must show the sincerity that satisfies me. Otherwise, you will do this time. One thing. Don't talk about killing you 2 Admiral-class combat power, even if I kill Marineford, I can do it, don't think I am so annoying. Quote. Exclamation mark quote. Upon hearing this, the audience fell silent, not to mention Sengoku on the other end of the phone, even Garp and Zephyr looked at Ronan dull and speechless, watching this child who can only be their grandchildren according to his age is so arrogant. The arrogant words came, some made it difficult for them to accept, but they had to accept it, because Ronan's current strength really did it. The people of the world who saw Ronan saying this through the live broadcast also looked at him dully and silently, listening to his Haki words, all of them speechless. Haki, overbearing, strong, such nouns appeared in their minds instantly. If this is a big pirate who has been famous for a long time, it would be nothing, such as the Rocks and Roger in the past. After all, they are the famous names that have been smashed in the sea for decades. And Ronan, how long has it been? It's been more than a year. In just over a year, Ronan has become such a legend, which makes their hearts at this moment full of complex meaning. Quote. Ronan, we also understand that you do have the strength to do such a thing, but you should also know that it is meaningless to fight with us like this, and you must know that you are now in a live broadcast to people all over the world. Among them, I hope you can calm down and listen to our conditions carefully. Don't do things that make countless pirates cheer and make countless innocent people miserable. After all, once you really kill us Marineford, no matter who we win in the end, both of us will suffer heavy losses, and the pirates will gain in the end. At that time, the pirates will increase their power, which will cause countless people to be plundered by the pirates. Sengoku said in a deep voice. Chapter 65, Allowing the Founding of a Nation. Give back 1 billion Baileys in cash. Ha ha ha. When Ronan heard the words, he couldn't help but chuckle. He turned his head and looked at the live camera not far away. Through the screen, the immature face with a light smile was seen by the people of the world. Isn't this what you want? I, Ronan, never said that I was a pirate. It was your world government who gave me such a name, Ronan the Great Pirate, Ronan son of the devil. He also offered a reward of 1.5 billion Baileys, how huge. A sum of money. Wow. Upon hearing this, people all over the world were in an uproar. It turns out that Ronan was forced into this by the world government. It turns out that he didn't want to be a pirate himself. The things that are advertised in the newspaper are also problematic. Sure, it was all advertised by the world government. He said that you are a pirate and you are a pirate. If you are not a pirate, you are a good person. Marineford, the staff of Crane suddenly received news from all over the place. The public's opinions on the world government and Marine increased again, especially after they heard that Ronan was forced to become a pirate by the world government. People everywhere are simply excited. The Crane staff frowned when he heard it, and hurried to Sengoku's side and whispered a few words. Sengoku frowned when he heard it, then nodded, and said again, Ronan, the next talk is between our two parties. There is no need to broadcast live to the people of the world. This farce will end here, it will satisfy you. Garp, let Morgan stop the live broadcast. On Reina Island, Garp nodded after hearing Sengoku's words, and understood that what is happening now should not be broadcast live to the people of the world, because next, whether it is the world government or Marine, it will definitely make concessions to Ronan and agree to some comparisons. Excessive conditions may even offer compensation. How can such things be known to the public and must be concealed? And Ronan grinned and said, What? Do you have something shameful to tell me? Can't the people of the world see and hear it? This, we don't mean it. Sengoku hesitated. But the next conversation is really not suitable for spreading. Ronan, I hope you can agree. This is beneficial to both of us. What if I don't agree? Ronan snorted. Just talk about it. If you don't like it, then don't talk about it. Brush. Laugh. Ronan shook the sunwheel sword in his hand, and a sword light flung out, cutting out a bottomless crack in the ground, showing the threat. Advertisement. Garp and Zephyr twitched at the corners of their mouths. This guy, almost lawless, relied on his strength to directly threaten them by force. However, who makes them inferior to others? Seeing this, Sengoku felt a little pain in his head, but there was no way to get Ronan. In desperation, he could only agree. Okay, then talk like that. Ronan nodded. What are the conditions? If it can satisfy me, it would not be impossible to let them both go. Good. After Sengoku responded, he said in a deep voice, Ronan, as long as you agree to let Garp and Zephyr leave safely, the world government has promised to make an exception to let you join the ranks of 7 warlords of the sea and become Shichibukai. 1. What do you think? Upon hearing this, the people who were noisy because Sengoku was about to close the live broadcast suddenly fell silent. Shichibukai. What is this? Someone who didn't understand asked curiously. 7 warlords of the sea. I know that it seems to be a qualification certificate issued by the world government specifically for some powerful big pirates. It belongs to the world government and can even be equivalent to Marine, but it is still lower than Marine. The qualifications to participate in the World Council, as well as the qualifications to form a pirate group, are a powerful position with great authority in the world. A person who knew Shichibukai's position suddenly exclaimed. So amazing. The people nearby were all amazed. If you can participate in the World Parliament, isn't that equivalent to the level of a franchise country? Yeah, 7 warlords of the sea can only be done by some powerful pirates, what do you think? Then, Ronan will agree. It should be. After all, once he agrees to become Shichibukai, all the wanted rewards on him will be cancelled. He will be washed away from the pirates and become a member of the world government. From then on, he will not be targeted by Marine, even if he is pirates, except for the top big pirates of New World, other pirates dare not move him. After all, Shichibukai itself is a big pirate and is recognized by the world government. It belongs to both sides, whether it is the world government or the sea. Thieves, they must give a bit of face. That's not necessarily true. I think Ronan is not an ordinary person. Maybe someone else has other ideas. Then see how he chooses. In the eyes of those pirates, the world government dug a hole for Ronan. Damn it, the world government is drawing big pirates again. Their disgusting behavior is really disgusting. Hey, the pirate who was ordered by the world government, no matter how powerful he is, I won't admit that he is still a pirate. Advertisement. Do people need you to admit it? They are powerful, and even the big pirates of New World dare not look down on it, let alone our little pirates. Besides, recognized by the world government and invited to become Shichibukai, that's one thing. A very good thing. It would be great if I could join Shichibukai. Hehe, just you. Stop dreaming. Compared with ordinary people, the ideas of the pirates are really ever-changing, and they have their own minds. Some people are dismissive of the world government's security policy, and some are very envious of it, and they want to agree to Ronan. However, in reality, it still depends on Ronan's own choice. Ronan was also a little stunned when he heard this. He never expected that the other party would still have the heart to win over him, which was really a little bit beyond his expectation. But if you think about it carefully, it's no wonder that world government thinks that way. If you can pull yourself into the Shichibukai ranks, it is indeed a very good way to solve the current predicament of world government and Marine. Pity, I am not willing to be a dog of the world government. So, Shichibukai, he is absolutely impossible to do, whoever loves to do it. Unlike the Empress and Jinbei, one has an Amazon daughter country that needs to be guarded, and the other has the Fishman Island that needs to be guarded, and has to use the convenience of Shichibukai to gain benefits for the people and get shelter from the world government and Marine. Ronan is lonely and widowed. As long as he brings Orovia and others around, he won't be any drag. Even Ohara doesn't feel any debt. He has rescued them once, and he will encounter danger next time. Save, it depends entirely on the mood. Ronan lowered his head to think, as if hesitated. Over there, when Sengoku saw Ronan thinking, he seemed to be really considering this proposal. He was immediately happy, and he hurriedly said that he must take Ronan down. Also, We will compensate you 1 billion Baileys in cash. The most important thing is that our world government will represent the major franchise countries and give you a qualification to establish a nation. Sengoku's words were full of temptation and said, Ronan, with this qualification, you can build a country on any island on Ohara or Grand Line. The world government will recognize the status of the country, and even let you take the entire country. Join the alliance. As soon as he said this, even Ronan raised his head in surprise. Zephyr and Garp also showed surprised expressions. Similarly, the people of the world who watched the live broadcast also showed shock and horror. Chapter 66, Drive the Wolf Away. Choose. All stunned. Allow the founding of a nation. No, isn't it? Well, isn't this condition too good? Yeah, this is the founding of the nation. Once Ronan agrees, he can immediately become a king, an 11-year-old king. God, so envy. I also envy. The conditions of the world government are also very good. Ronan will definitely agree. I don't know, I must have agreed to what I said. Cut, do you still want to be a king? Can I think about it? Okay, you want to go slowly. There was a lot of heated discussion among the people. Everyone felt that the conditions of world government are too superior. Anyone who wants to come will agree to such a big temptation. Ronan should be no exception. After all, he is a young man. The child, although strong, but he can be a king, doesn't he nod his head immediately? After all, you don't have to go farming or hunting yourself when you become a king. You can also marry so many beautiful wives. Similar to what the people thought of Doran, the pirates who watched the live broadcast were also jealous. FK, Jangwo, this is Jangwo, are recognized by the world government. God, if it was me, how good would it be? A pirate leader looked at Ronan in the live broadcast with envy and hatred, and couldn't wait to replace him. This is a great opportunity to reach the sky in one step. Yes, the most important thing is recognized by the world government. Our pirates are not incapable of occupying an island. There are thousands of pirates who can attack a small island. But if the world government does not recognize it, they will send a fleet to encircle and suppress. I will still lose the island. It is completely impossible to be a king. The captain of another pirate group sighed. Who said no? Said another captain of the pirate regiment with a beard. Why do those big pirates in New World fight so often? It's not because of the low control of the world government and marine on the New World side. Can't help them too much. Only after they lay down a site can they be crowned and dominate, but even so, they can only call themselves kings, and the world government still won't admit it. If Ronan agrees, he will indeed reach the sky in one step. A thin pirate squinted his eyes and said, however, I feel that the world government will definitely not be so kind, although Ronan currently has an absolute advantage, momentum and strength. The government has suppressed Marine, but he has no manpower and no money. How can he build the country? Didn't he ask the world government for help in the end? Hey, what an abacus, as long as Ronan agrees, won't he be the thug of the world government in the future? The bearded pirate sneered. Yeah, maybe he would also suggest that Ronan choose the address of the founding of the country in New World, and let him collide with the big pirates and kill each other. In the end, it is the world government and marine that will take advantage of the fishermen. Advertisement. The lean pirate smiled and said, look, the position of 7 warlords of the sea is ready for you, and Jangwo's 1 billion Baileys are also ready for you, and manpower is just a word for the world government. That's all, when you say that Ronan is not someone's dog. Hey. Let's not gloat here. The pirate who sighed. If Ronan really agrees, it will really be the disaster of our pirates. You can also see his strength. This is only 11 years old, wait for him to grow up in a few years. So. Horrible. The skinny pirate's complexion changed, and then he spit out 2 words. New World. The 4 emperors in the future saw this, all of them looked gloomy, and at the same time they fixed their eyes on Ronan, wanting to see how Ronan would choose. After all, it was about them. Big plans for the future. On Reina Island, on the street, Ronan smiled and looked up at Garp. He saw Garp and Zephyr both look surprised. He seemed to be surprised at the conditions given by Sengoku. He couldn't help but sneer in his heart. The guy is really talented as an actor. Do you really treat yourself as a kid and fool you? Ronan, our naval headquarters has discussed with 5 elders. As long as it is not the location of the franchise country, you can choose any island to build a country. Even on the New World side, we Marine will give full support. As for building a country in terms of manpower and funds, don't worry, we will help you solve the manpower. If the money is not enough, we will add 1 billion Baileys. Even an additional 2 billion Baileys will not be a problem. These money, but they are all directly given to you. I think such generous terms are definitely something that anyone will be satisfied with. What do you think? Sengoku was still talking endlessly, the language was full of sincerity, as if he was really thinking about Ronan. Hearing what he seemed to want to say, Ronan immediately waved his hand and said, all right, don't talk about it, I don't have the spare time to build a country. It's too much trouble, I'm used to being leisurely. Where can I go? Manage the country. We can send someone to help you manage it. It seemed that Ronan wanted to refuse. Sengoku was taken aback and quickly said, it's okay if you want to be the king of leisure. You don't have to worry about managing state affairs. We have a lot of talents in this area in the world government. It will definitely help you properly manage the country. Needless to say, Ronan smiled and said, I refuse to be a Shichibukai, but I refuse to be a Shichibukai, but I really want 1 billion Baileys in cash. You wouldn't give it to me because I refuse to be a Shichibukai or refuse to be a Shichibukai. This. You really don't think about it anymore. Sengoku still wanted to recover, and asked again without giving up. After all, if Ronan can really become Shichibukai, and then go to New World to build a country, let him be a forefront of the charge to fight with the great pirates of New World, then it is definitely the most perfect thing. It's a pity that Ronan doesn't seem to have any scheming. A little boy with only a strong strength is not fooled. It is really too enchanting. Don't think about it. Ronan snorted. You just say that 1 billion Baileys will be given, right? Advertisement. Give. Sengoku sighed and said, also, in addition to 1 billion Baileys, I need 5 devil fruits. 3 of them must be Logia, and the other 2 must be 1 Paramesha and 1 Zone. These are my conditions, and the others are gone. Ronan said easily, as if what he asked for was not 5 devil fruits, but 5 candies. 5 devil fruit. Also, 3 Logia fruits. Sengoku took a breath and stayed where he was, not knowing how to reply. The same goes for Garp and Zephyr. They were taken aback by Ronan's request. Most of the people who watched the live broadcast had also heard of devil fruit, a miraculous fruit that spread all over the world, and all of them stared in surprise. The pirates drooled one by one. 5 devil fruits, there are also 3 Logias. Although this Ronan refused to be Shichibukai and Jangwo as king, it is a pity, but with these 5 devil fruits, it is different. This can create 5 powerful ones. Come out the crew. The key is that there are 3 Logia fruits, which are the most powerful of all devil fruits. This Ronan is really a lion's mouth. This condition is mentioned. If you don't mention it, it's amazing. I wonder if world government and marine will agree to such a condition. I wonder if the world government has so many devil fruits. There are definitely some, and more are okay, but the 3 Logia fruits are a big problem. Logia fruits are too scarce. Among the fruit-powered people currently appearing in the world, only 1 out of 10 is Logia. Most of the fruit-powered people are Zone, and then Paramesha. Logia can't be met. This Ronan needs 3 at once, so world government should be in trouble now. Hey, it's good, it's better if you don't have 3 Logia fruits, then Ronan gets angry and hit Marineford again, so we can pick up the bargain behind. A few days ago, our pirates had been eyeing an island and didn't dare. Do it, as long as Ronan dares to kill Marineford, I can grab the island with my mobile hand. Chapter 67. The live broadcast ends. Golden Lion is coming. Ronan, don't you think you have too much appetite? Garp couldn't help but said, did you know that 3 Logia devil fruits are rare? Yes, if you only want Zone and Paramesha fruits, let alone 5, even 10 is not a big problem, but Logia's devil fruit is too scarce. Ronan, you can change the conditions. Zephyr said from the side as well. Impossible, Ronan said coldly. Stop talking nonsense, I'm already sincere. 5 devil fruits, 3 Logia fruits, 1 can't be less, if you can't do it. Ronan didn't finish speaking, but anyone could hear the threat. Garp and Zephyr glanced at each other, both speechless, then looked at the phone worm in Garp's hand, waiting for Sengoku's response. Not only are they waiting, the people of the world who are watching the live broadcast are also waiting, and even the pirates among them are waiting for Sengoku to reject Ronan's request. If so, Ronan will definitely be angered and Ronan will be completely involved. Marine broke with the world government. However, to their surprise, Sengoku's voice came from the phone worm, but he calmly agreed to Ronan's request. Okay, Ronan, your request I represent naval headquarters and also represents world. The government agreed, and we will gather 5 devil fruits as quickly as possible to give them to you, but this will take time. As you know, Logia devil fruit is not common. Even the world government does not have as many as 3. It's fine to mobilize from other places. I only give you 10 days. Ronan waved his hand, then raised his body, looked around in a circle, looked in the direction of the camera, and said to all the people, then the negotiation will be over. Here, the live broadcast screen can be closed. Hearing that, Morgans over there hurriedly told all reporters to turn off the cameras, regardless of the people who were staring at the live broadcast. Morgans cared more about Ronan's attitude than the public, and definitely couldn't provoke him. What? Advertisement. The screen went out and turned into darkness. Although all the people in front of the live screen were a little regretful, they did not blame anything. Anyway, this fierce battle has been watched from beginning to end. The 2 top forces of naval headquarters and the son of the big pirate demon Luo Nan's pinnacle duel finally ended with Ronan's absolute strong victory, which also gave the people of the world a lot of talk. So far, Ronan's prestige is completely famous in the world. The pirates who watched the battle did not regret it either. Although Sengoku finally agreed to Ronan's excessive request, in the end Ronan did not agree to become Shichibukai or become a minion of the world government, which is already very good. Among the group of pirates watching the battle, one person is very special, he is the Golden Lion Shiki. It has been a lot of time since he escaped from Impel Down to the present. At the beginning of this period, even if he was strong, he did not expose his identity to Marine. Impel Down's years of imprisonment life can be regarded as grinding some of his reckless temperament. Looking at the darkened live broadcast, the Golden Lion, hidden on an island, slowly turned and left. On the drooping head, there was a strange light in his eyes. This Ronan has become so powerful. He had heard of Ronan's name when he was imprisoned before at Impel Down. Although Ronan was not weak at that time, his name had just come out, and he was only dealing with ordinary Marines and generals. Now, he was able to directly suppress the admiral-class combat power of the two naval headquarters, and this change was somewhat difficult for him to accept. Damn it, fortunately I didn't find him before. Golden Lion squeezed his fist in shame. After he escaped from prison, he planned to find Ronan to join him. For this reason, he went to East Blue to find Ronan's traces, but there was no sign of him. I found it. I heard that Ronan destroyed a fleet of East Blue branch and came to the Grand Line until some time ago. Until now, after watching such a fierce and sensational battle at the pinnacle of the world, his heart is against Ronan's involvement. The idea is already a little less confident. What did he think when he was still impelled down? Conquer Ronan directly, let him join him to become a member of his flying pirates, and help him counterattack naval headquarters. And now, he is not a fool. If he really dared to do that, he would be beaten to death by Ronan as soon as he met. Advertisement. Golden Lion's eyes rolled around, constantly thinking about what he should do now. It's not his character to keep him hiding like this, but he still wants to go to naval headquarters for revenge, and he has the dream of unifying the world. He wants to accomplish big things that Rox and Roger have not done. Even Roger only became a pirate king, and was finally executed by the world government. Golden Lion wanted to do more ambitious than Roger. He wanted to overthrow the rule of the world government and celestial dragons, and he wanted to rule the world by himself. Marine is the biggest obstacle in front of him. As long as Marine is the sharpest knife in the hands of the world government and celestial dragons, after Marine, will the world government and celestial dragons not let him kill? No, I can't do such a thing by myself. Golden Lion suddenly raised his head, and his eyes flickered. I still have to find Ronan. Since he rejected Shichibukai's position, it means that he is not an idiot and does not want to be a dog of the world government. In that case, I went to persuade him to overthrow celestial dragons with me. With his current strength and my strength, he can definitely do it, and he can even bring the big pirates of New World into the group in the future. He will be foolproof by then ns. Just do it. When he said it, Golden Lion left this remote island without looking back, and flew directly into the sky, heading in the direction of Ronan. Reyna Island, the location of the peak war that affected the world, has finally restored its former prosperity, and the streets destroyed by the battle are also being renovated. Ronan has already returned to the Julong with Orovia and others, ready to take a break and set sail, the destination, the City of Water. As for Garp and Zephyr, after Ronan and Sengoku reached an agreement, they were also released by Ronan, left Reyna Island and returned to naval headquarters. And Sengoku promised Ronan's things, whether it's a billion Baileys or 5 devil fruits, it's not something that can be taken out immediately. The two parties agreed that after Ronan arrived in the water capital, he would send someone to send the things and money. Chapter 68 Signed to Reyna Island. Reward Armament Haki. For Ronan, he was not afraid that the other party would deceive him and would not send things. This time he went to the water city, and the next stop was Eni's lobby, Sabayati Archipelago. The seabed under Sabayati Archipelago is the Fishman Island, and the seabed road leading to New World is here. On the sea, the nearest behind Sabayati Archipelago is Marineford, where naval headquarters is located. Dare to deceive Ronan, he stopped going to the Fishman Island, and went straight to Marineford. Behind Marineford is the Red Line, where Mariajoy, the headquarters of the world government, is located. Although it is not close, it is not because Ronan is now able to fly far away. Ronan was really offended by that time, but not only Marineford will suffer, but even Mariajoy will suffer. Just ask if you have the courage. Ronan, this is your knife. On the giant wave, Orovia carefully handed Zanpakuto to Ronan. Without this knife, she might have been arrested in the face of Saputi, as a threat to Ronan. Not only her, but even Robin and other women will be robbed. In this battle, this long knife made a great contribution. Ronan took Zanpakuto calmly, stretched out his hand and brushed it. Zanpakuto turned into light fragments and disappeared. This magical scene made Robin, Elena and other women's eyes widened. Ronan, what kind of knife is this? Is it the legendary Supreme Sharp Knife? It's amazing. Robin quickly grabbed Ronan's sleeve and asked, can you still make it disappear? What happened? This is not the Supreme Sharp Knife, but it's no worse than the Supreme Sharp Knife, and it's even stronger. A smile appeared at the corner of Ronan's mouth. The reason why it disappeared is that I put it away, and I can take it out again when I need it. Wow, is that so convenient? Robin said enviously. Robin, what do you envy? Irina pouted and looked at Robin. You are demon fruit power. When facing those Marines before, Kuruman and I had nothing to do. Only you can resist. Had it not been for Aunt Orovia to hold Ronan's magic knife in the end, we might have been caught long ago. Yes. Kuruman nodded and said, we are not capable of fighting, we are too weak, let alone compare with Captain Ronan. Even Robin, you are much better than us. I'm pretty good. Robin laughed suddenly when he heard the words, a little bit self-satisfied. Advertisement. Well, don't you guys get discouraged. Ronan looked at Kuruman and Elena a little discouraged, and could not help but comforted. Didn't I knock 5 devil fruits with Sengoku? By the time we get to the water city and they deliver the things, you can choose a fruit you like and eat it, and you will become a fruit-powered person in the future. Hey, Yelena and Kuruman were taken aback for a moment, and Yelena asked embarrassedly, can we really do it? Well, that's what you got after you worked hard to defeat the enemy. Yes, Captain Ronan, if such a precious thing is given to us, is it a waste? Kuruman also bit his lip and said, I'm just a cook. Actually, I don't need any abilities. To the unstoppable danger, even if you give up on me, I won't. What are you talking about? Ronan glared at her dissatisfiedly. Our traveler pirates group will not give up their companions. We didn't do it before, we don't do it now, and we will definitely not in the future, you know. No, got it. When Ronan was angry, the two of them nodded quickly, but there was a sweet feeling in their hearts. It seems that the captain still values himself very much. Seeing the people get along very well, Orovia couldn't help showing a smile. Although Yelena and Karaman had just joined the team for a short time, she still recognized the two girls, Karaman's cooking skills. Needless to say, it is definitely the top of East Blue. Even on the Grand Line, although I dare not say how powerful it is definitely not bad. And Yelena, Jelena's navigator knowledge is indeed not very good, and she still needs to learn more, but it also makes the Julong sailing on the sea much better than before, and Yelena herself is also very serious about learning navigator knowledge. A girl who has to read related books for a long time every day and works very hard. The recognition of Orovia and Robin also enabled the two girls to quickly integrate into the team. Coupled with Ronan, a powerful captain who can almost be said to be unmatched, there will be places where they can't in the future. Go. Dare not go. No more. So, it is absolutely smooth for her to study the text of history in the future. The truth hidden in history will definitely be found out by her. Sooner or later, the truth will be made public. Ronan, shall we leave here now? Orovia asked. Reina Island is done, the supplies have been replenished, and it is time for them to leave now, but whether they decide to leave or not is the captain's right. Advertisement. Yeah, things have been resolved, and Marine will not be entangled anymore after I want to come here, but it saves me some trouble. Ronan shrugged his shoulders and said, still the same sentence, he certainly is not afraid of any challenge from Marine, but this keeps coming to him for trouble, and it is also very annoying, okay. I'm in pain. At least for a short period of time, whether it's Marine or world government, I don't dare to find fault with myself, right? Of course, Ronan also knew that he must be a dazzling thorn in the flesh of the world government and Marine. Once the opponent finds a chance, he will definitely not put himself to death. But that was also the future. Given Ronan's confidence in his own strength, he would not have this opportunity to come to the other party. By the way, there is one more thing you can't forget before you leave. Sign in. During the time he came to Reina Island, he was busy shopping with Robin and others before, and he encountered Garp Zephyr in the back. There was a shocking battle. How could there be time to sign in? And now, he is about to leave this island. Before leaving, he must have used up the opportunity to sign in, otherwise he will have to go to the Water City next time to sign in. All the way is above the sea, there is nothing to sign in. Opportunity. So Ronan directly gave the order to set sail, and at the same time, he called the sign-in system in his mind and started to sign in. System, sign to Reina Island. Ding. Congratulations to host, sign in successfully, get reward, armament Haki. Oh, armament Haki. Ronan's eyes lit up. The last Haki is here too, plus Conquerors and seeing and hearing, I can be regarded as Conquerors Haki gathered now. System, call up my attribute panel. Chapter 69 Property Panel. Visitors in the sky. Host, Ronan. Age, 11 years old. Physique, 136. Strength, 129. Agility, 133. Spirit, 181. Conquerors Haki, LV9. Observation Haki, LV2. Armament Haki, LV1. Flowing Cloud Sword, LV9. Mera-mera Fruit, LV9. Marine 6 Styles, LV9. Prehistoric Chi Refining Technique, the third stage of the mortal realm. Air Dance, LV12. Zanpakuto, Shiki, Healing Potions, 36 bottles. Psychopharmaceutical, 27 bottles. Physical Potion, 45 bottles. Longevity Potion, 8 bottles. Sunwheel Knife, Quick Travel Talisman, Giant Wave, Pluton Drawings. Advertisement. Now Ronan's 4-dimensional attributes have reached a very terrifying level. There may be strong people in this world who can be compared with Ronan, but there are probably no one who can easily defeat him. At present, Ronan is worthy of attention, I'm as one of them. After all, this is a legendary existence that controls Uranus. In addition, there are the new world players, Whitebeard, Kaido, and Aunts, which are also worthy of Ronan's attention. Of course, they are worthy of attention. It is impossible for these people to defeat Ronan. They are just as one. The opponent is indeed a rare opponent. After all, Whitebeard of this era is in the prime of life, and it is not an exaggeration to call it the number one power in the sea, of course before Ronan turned out to be born. At this time, you can ask anyone, who is the strongest man in the sea, and 90 adults will tell you that it is Ronan. Ronan is now carrying the might of defeating the two great marine powerhouses. Kun is facing the world, no one knows, no one is afraid. When Marine delivers the things owed to Ronan, at that time, the overall strength of the traveler pirates will also be greatly improved. Just 3 Logia devil fruits will be able to increase a lot of strength. With billions of Baileys in his hands, Ronan can find a great boatman and start the construction of Pluton after he arrives in the water capital. It's been a long time since the Pluton drawings are in his hands, and he should take them out. It worked. Time flies quickly, and several days have passed in a blink of an eye. After Elena got on the ship, the giant wave never got lost again. It turned directly from the route of Reina Island to the central route and headed towards the water capital. Although Alina's navigator ability is not too high, it also played a very important role, coupled with the presence of pointers, basically put an end to many natural disasters, such as tsunamis, submarine volcanic eruptions and so on. In a few days, the ship passed by 2 small islands. Ronan took the opportunity to stop and sign in. Although he did not receive a good reward, he also received several bottles of potion. Speaking of the potion, Ronan thought for a while and gave the longevity potion to both Irina and Karuman so that they could drink the potion to prolong their life. Although the two had been on the ship for a relatively short time, they have been recognized by everyone since this time. Robin and Orovia did not say much about this, but rather agreed with Ronan's decision. After drinking 2 bottles of potions, and hearing Robin talk about the effects of this potion, both Yelena and Karaman were shocked. There is such a precious potion that can increase the lifespan of people in the world. Unbelievable, this made the two of them recognize the traveler pirates, Ronan and the others more deeply, and it also truly brought everyone together, regardless of each other, and became true partners. 2 more days passed. On this day, the weather was clear and cloudless, Orovia was at the helm of the ship, Yelena looked at the chart seriously, Karaman and Robin were busy in the kitchen, and Ronan, the master would lie down on the deck chair to bask in the sun. At this time, a black spot appeared in the sky, flying quickly from far to near. What is that? Irina discovered this situation and looked at the black spots that approached quickly in the sky with some curiosity. Is it a seagull? Or is it a dark cloud that is about to rain? Not a dark cloud, this kind of dark spot is not like a dark cloud. Irina stood beside Orovia and whispered, and was heard by Orovia. She also raised her head and looked over. As the black spots gradually approached, she somewhat understood what it was, and she seemed to be alone. It seems to be a person. Is this also a person who can fly? Ability. Orovia was a little surprised, but she was not worried. Just kidding, Ronan was on the boat. Now in this world, there are not many things that can threaten them. Where did they happen to happen? Ronan. Orovia thought so, but shouted Ronan who was resting not far away, we found an unexpected situation. Come and take a look. There seems to be someone in the sky flying fast. Isn't it aimed at us? Quote. Advertisement. Oh, Ronan opened his eyes and slowly stood up from the recliner. First he stretched his waist, then rubbed his eyes sleepily, and struck him and walked over. What's the situation? Ronan asked, looking like he hadn't woken up yet. Captain, look over there. Yelena pointed to the sky and said. It's him. Ronan took a look. With his powerful eyesight, he recognized who the black spot in the sky was in the distance. This person looked familiar. His legs were made up of 2 knives, and his head was half a rudder. The latter has long blonde hair and a face full of arrogance, and flew directly towards his ship. Obviously, this guy's purpose is the journey, or is it himself? Ronan smiled at the corner of his mouth, touched his chin and thought, what is this guy looking for? That's right, Ronan has recognized this person. It is not someone else, but Golden Lion Shiki, who successfully escaped from Impel Down before. Now this guy has come to find himself. Or is it passing by? If you pass by, it is unlikely. Regardless, it depends on his purpose. Even if the other party is a Golden Lion, Ronan doesn't take it seriously. If he speaks well, it depends on his purpose. If he doesn't speak well, hee. Feeling that something seemed to be happening on the deck, Robin and Karaman in the kitchen also walked out immediately and asked what had happened. At this moment, in the sky, the Golden Lion Shiki suddenly accelerated his flight speed and hurried directly towards the giant wave. It took me several days, but I finally found it. The Golden Lion laughed loudly. He looked at the ships sailing on the sea under his feet, and suddenly smiled. Then his figure quickly landed directly on the bow deck, looking at the people on the deck, a group of different sizes. A girl surrounded a teenage child. The child was calm and thin but gave a breathtaking and powerful aura. Golden Lion's eyes lit up, and he praised in his heart. As expected to be Ronan, the son of the devil, this doesn't look simple, it really is extraordinary. Ronan. Finally let me find you. Golden Lion grinned at Ronan. Chapter 70, Salted Fish Ronan. Refused directly. Oh, are you here specifically for me? Ronan asked curiously. What are you looking for me for? Besides, you show up in the ocean so grandiosely, are you afraid that Marine will catch you back to Impel Down? Hey, just rely on them. Golden Lion disdainfully said. Uncle, although I don't show up very much during this time, I am not afraid of them, but I am carrying out my plan. After so long integration, the crew members of my flying pirates have already been separated. I have gathered more than half of it. Marine, sooner or later I will go to them to settle the account. Oh, when Ronan heard the words, he just responded lightly. After escaping from Impel Down, the Golden Lion in the original book was not as Haki as he said now, but was hidden deeply, so he didn't dare to show up at will. Until he was defeated by Straw Hat Crew in the future, he was imprisoned again in Impel Down. Where is he so powerful now? Golden Lion is strong. He is a character who can compete with Whitebeard. He even faced Roger tit for tat before. This guy is very arrogant and thought about taking Roger as a subordinate, but Roger simply doesn't like him. The powerhouses belonging to the echelon below Roger and Rox are about the same level as the 4 emperors, and in terms of strength, they can be regarded as midstream among the 4 emperors. But to Ronan, it was nothing. It's nothing to Ronan, but to the others on the giant wave, the Golden Lion's name is still very bluffing. What? You are Golden Lion. Golden Lion Shiki. Robin stared at the tall man in front of him. This man was a bit weird. He had a rudder on his head and a blonde hair that almost dragged to the heel. The key was that his legs were not feet, but two handles. The long knife replaced the legs to support the body. Golden Lion Shiki. Karaman also looked at each other in surprise. Is that the big pirate who escaped from Impel undersea prison? It is said that he was the first pirate in the world to escape from the big prison. Irina also looked at Golden Lion curiously. Advertisement. Orovia did not speak. Faced with such a legendary big pirate, she still took care of her thoughts, and took Robin and others back. Ronan was the only one on this ship who could talk to her. Human, it can be seen from the arrogant eyes of the other party that the other party did not put his own women in his eyes, and the only thing that can be valued by the other party is Ronan. However, hearing the words of several women still made Golden Lion feel arrogant. It seems that the name he used to break out is still very useful, and the name of the first successful escape from the great prison in Impel down hundreds of years. It makes him very proud. For countless years, no pirate has ever been able to do anything. He, Golden Lion Shiki, has done it. This is his pride, the show of his strength. If Ronan had not suddenly appeared in front of him, now the most famous big pirate in the entire sea is his Golden Lion Shiki. But these are all fictitious names. He didn't come here to compete with Ronan, but to find Ronan to cooperate with him on important matters. Ronan. Golden Lion looked around for a week, first glanced at Ronan's ship, and then at Orovia and others. He glanced disdainfully, completely indifferent to these weak and cumbersome women, and then looked at Ronan. He opened his mouth and said, I came here specifically to find you this time. What are you looking for? Tell me. Ronan breathed out and responded lazily. Golden Lion looked at Ronan's appearance that didn't put himself in his eyes at all, and couldn't help but feel a little bit ashamed. In my own words, he can be regarded as an old predecessor in the pirate world. Ronan's appearance really does not put himself in his eyes. Too disrespectful. However, he did not express his dissatisfaction. The world still depends on his strength. Ronan is strong enough to invade the world. There is no problem in putting anyone in his eyes. Golden Lion itself is a respect for the strong. It's just that he didn't put others in his eyes before, but now it's his turn, so he feels a little uncomfortable. Of course, in Golden Lion's heart, he doesn't feel that his strength is worse than Ronan. He hasn't fought before, so how could he simply judge his strength? Ronan, your pirate group is too small to match your identity. Golden Lion said seriously. I also watched your previous battle with Garp Zephyr. With your current status, you can achieve a bigger position, such as the leader of a large pirate group with hundreds or even thousands of people. Quote. I think my little pirate group is enough. Ronan said. I don't have such big ambitions, and I don't want to do those troublesome things. Just play around freely. Why are you so salty? Advertisement. Upon hearing this, Golden Lion suddenly looked at Ronan with a heartache. With such a big name, even in the world, Ronan now has an unparalleled appeal, not just a pirate, even the people of the world, they are all extolling Ronan's deeds. In Golden Lion's view, Ronan can rely on this to accomplish a great cause. But looking at the appearance of Ronan's salted fish now, it suddenly made him a little speechless, a little angry with hatred of iron and steel. Isn't salted fish bad? Ronan blinked his big black and white eyes, and said in a pure and innocent look, I'm a kid now, only 11 years old, alas, in fact, the things I did before were completely persecuted. They came to the door by themselves. I was living my leisurely life. They had to come and disturb me. In desperation, they had no choice but to teach them a lesson. Where did they know that the young ones came to the old ones? In the end, even Garp and Zephyr came. I just hope that they will taste some lessons this time and don't disturb my leisure life. Ronan sighed helplessly. At my young age, I have been under pressure that I shouldn't have to bear. It's hard to be a human being. Golden Lion's eyes widened. Watching Ronan say such words, there was a sense of speechlessness and powerlessness. This guy, such a salty fish, where does such a powerful strength come from? It is simply incomprehensible and unimaginable. The girls who heard Ronan's words turned over Byakugan one after another, and even Orovia covered her mouth and snickered. Ronan. The corners of Golden Lion's mouth twitched, frowning and looking at Ronan. I'm here to invite you to join my flying pirate group. My flying pirate group, like Rock's pirate, was a mighty sea that crisscrossed the sea. The pirate regiment, even Roger's pirate regiment, is just like my pirate regiment. As for the pirate regiments in New World now, they are all established by some of the Rock's pirates who left. Not to mention, join your pirate group. The girls were shocked. This guy had originally made this idea and came to win Ronan on purpose. Don't go. Chapter 71. The Tempest Brother Golden Lion. How to write dead words. Ronan didn't even think about it, but he refused. He is enjoying himself in this little life. What will join your Golden Lion pirate group and plan with you to overthrow celestial dragons? What's the joke? Don't do such troublesome things by yourself. Think about the future Father Luffy. The Revolutionary Army is so big business. Ishin plans to overthrow the celestial dragon's tyranny, overthrow the world government with a few hundred franchisees. There are a lot of things to worry about. I don't know how much energy it takes. Myself don't do that thankless thing. Even after obtaining the Pluton drawings, Ronan never thought of doing this thankless thing himself, and he could give the drawings to others in the future and let others engage in celestial dragons. For the golden lion in front of him, if he can give him a bargaining chip, Ronan can also sell him a drawing and let him go to the trouble and watch the show himself. Golden Lion saw that Ronan didn't even think about it before he refused, and his face was full of anger. He felt that this little kid didn't put himself in his eyes at all. A cowardly marine, feels invincible. Humph. Golden Lion snorted, his face suddenly turned cold. Ronan, let me say it again, I am willing to give you the position of deputy captain of the Flying Pirates. You should know that this is already very sincere. I am not the Flying Pirates. In the general pirate group, let you be a deputy captain, enough to be worthy of your status, but don't make me difficult to do it. I personally invite you this time, but I have done my best. When Ronan heard this, he didn't feel confused, his face turned cold, and he looked at Golden Lion indifferently and said, so, if I don't agree, you are going to be strong. Ha ha ha, you personally invited me, I have to promise you. What are you? You dare to force me Ronan to do things. Court death. Golden Lion's eyes were red. No matter when he was crossing the sea before or after being caught by Marine in prison, no one had ever dared to talk to him like this. Even the previous Rox and Roger did not talk to him like this. How can he say that Golden Lion is also a top power in the world? Who dares to underestimate him? Nobody. No one has ever dared to look down upon him, even some timid Marines and pirates. The moment they saw him, they were scared to sit on the ground with limp legs. It can be seen that his Golden Lion was killed by a single shot. What came out was the real overlord of the sea. And today, advertisement. In front of Ronan, he was shown by this teenage boy. Not only that, but the other party pointed to his nose and cursed him for what it was. The lethality of such a sentence simply broke through the sky. Directly let Golden Lion's anger rush to Tian Ling Gai, and his whole body suddenly exploded. Jin played dance, like a god furious, his eyes were extremely bloody, and the glaring King Kong stared at Ronan without even wanting to shoot directly at Ronan. As soon as Golden Lion moved his hands, he used the two famous knives at his feet. The two famous knives of Sakura 10, withered wood, may not be so big in later generations. After all, Golden Lion could not hide at that time, and these two famous knives were also accompanied the hidden world. But in this era when Golden Lion is still active, these two supreme sharp knives are very famous, and they are also the treasures of many swordsmen's eyes. Yes, Sakura 10 and Dead Wood are the two supreme knives of the highest level, ranking 4th, so Golden Lion, who has two supreme knives, feels that he is no worse than Ronan. Maybe Luo the unknown long knife in Nan's hand is also very strong, but no matter how strong it is at most the same level as his famous knife, so he won't be afraid of the opponent. Brush. The two swords of Sakura 10 and withered wood were under the control of the Golden Lion. They swung their legs in the air, the sword light flickered, the sword light was dazzling, and two sword lights pierced towards Ronan. Chi. Two sword lights penetrated the air and made a piercing and sharp sound. Seeing this, the corner of Golden Lion's mouth couldn't help showing a cold smile, as if he had seen Ronan hit hard by his two swords. Of course, he doesn't think he can kill Ronan with two swords at will. If that's the case, then this Ronan is just a vain name. The so-called world's #1 swordsman and defeating the peak power of the two Marines are all false. He now wants to see how this little kid's strength is. If he can't even take two swords at will, he is not eligible to join his pirate group. If he can go next, he will be considered to have passed his own assessment. As for whether you can beat Ronan, Golden Lion, who is self-sustaining and extremely confident in his own strength, did not consider this issue at all. Ding, ding, two clear and sweet voices came out. Golden Lion was taken aback, then lowered his legs and looked over, only to see Ronan casually holding a slender long knife in his hand to smash the two sword lights he sent out, relaxed. Freehand brushwork, if you lift the weight lightly, can you block it with a simple swing of the knife? Golden Lion was a little startled. Is this Ronan so strong? Advertisement. Even if I didn't use my full strength, as a very powerful and famous swordsman with two swords, the sword light emitted by two famous swords was simply blocked. Well, that simple blocked my attack. Yes, it seems that you are indeed not a vain name. Golden Lion's anger has been slightly reduced, and the strong can always be respected and valued. Yes, if you can take this attack from me, your strength has been recognized by me, Ronan, I will give you another one. Opportunity, you think about it, joining my flying pirate group will be of great benefit. Otherwise. If not, Ronan looked calm, but looked at the opposite Golden Lion with a hint of coldness in his eyes. He had already been sentenced to death for Golden Lion. This guy actually said that he would do it with his hands. There is a reason for that. Ronan felt that he had very clearly rejected Golden Lion's bid, and the other party had to force himself to join, and he said that he had done his best to invite him in person. Do you think you are worthy of me when you invite me in person? Do you have to promise you if you invite me personally? What? After being irritated by himself, he started directly, and now he threatens, he must join his pirate group, otherwise, what do you want? Such threatening words directly caused Ronan to sentence Golden Lion to death. Today, Golden Lion must have no good results. Shiki, originally, you finally escaped from Impel Down. If you hide yourself as a tortoise with a shrunken head, no one will bother you, Marine may not be able to find your hiding place, but... Ronan lowered his head and looked at Zanpakuto in his hand. Zanpakuto had already completed Shikai at this moment. The slender knife body was shining with cold light. As Ronan's words gradually fell, pieces of illusion and reality appeared around Ronan. The petals of the sakura flower fall, and on the way down, it appears and disappears from time to time, leaving only a little bright and beautiful halo like a star. But you shouldn't be absolutely wrong. You shouldn't provoke me. I have definitely refused to join your pirate group. You dare to do it to me. Don't you know how to write dead words? Ronan suddenly raised his head and looked at Golden Lion blankly. There was no trace of emotion in his eyes. He looked at Golden Lion like a dead person. Chapter 72 Bankai. Kill Golden Lion with one sword. Ha ha ha. Shiki has been crossing the sea for many years, and I really don't know how to write dead words. Golden Lion was completely irritated by Ronan, raised his head and smiled, then looked at Ronan and said, Boy, don't think that you have a little strength and put your tail up to the sky. How can I be regarded as your old predecessor without any respect? Is it true? That's all. If that's the case, then I will completely crush your confidence today and let you take a good look. You cannot underestimate the big pirate who has been able to cross the sea for many years. Don't think that you have defeated the two. Marine Admiral class combat power feels invincible. Ronan did not answer when he heard this, but turned to look at Orovia and the others. You stand a little behind, don't be affected. Good. Orovia and the others nodded immediately, knowing that they and the others were a drag here. In order not to cause trouble to Ronan, it would be better to stay away. Orovia left this deck with Robin and the other girls, and came to the cabin entrance, holding his hands tightly and watching Ronan confront the Golden Lion. Mom, don't worry, Ronan will definitely not lose to this golden retriever. Robin was full of confidence in Ronan, but comforted Orovia. Well, Ronan can definitely do it. Orovia also nodded, still staring into the distance. Yes, Ronan even defeated two such powerful guys Garp and Zephyr before. How could he lose to the person in front of him? I don't think it will take long to defeat the opponent. Yelena has also become Ronan's fan girl at this moment, completely superstitious of Ronan's strength. Later, I will make a delicious meal and treat Captain Ronan well. Karaman was already thinking about what to make delicious when he waited, and he was also confident in Ronan, not worried that Ronan would lose to this sudden visitor. And on the deck at this moment, after Orovia and others left, Ronan was officially ready to deal with Golden Lion. This guy came to disturb his leisurely life. He was also aggressive, after he clearly refused to join the flying pirates. Don't stop, it's just like a brown candy, troublesome. Advertisement. How? Over there. Golden Lion was still talking, and the words were even more unbearable. Is it enough to let those useless women avoid? After I completely convince you, all these burdens will be thrown into the sea to feed the fish, some useless it's stupid to take the waste with you out to sea. From now on, I will be honest in my flying pirates. If you are obedient, you can live a good life. Otherwise, let you know what cruelty is. Golden Lion grinned and showed a big mouth with blood and a hideous look on his face. Obviously, Ronan's previous words completely angered him. Although he hadn't wanted to kill Ronan yet, he was not ready to let Ronan live well. He was prepared to force him. The method conquered Ronan. As for Orovia and others, some useless ordinary people, he didn't look at it at all. After conquering Ronan, he just discarded the matter. No wonder you have not been able to get things done. Just like you, still want to overthrow the world government, and also want to overthrow the celestial dragons. A joke. Ronan took a deep breath, and the majestic mental power surged into Zanpakuto frantically and began to impact Bankai. When he was Shikai, his spiritual power was still very weak, or the soul strength on which spiritual power depends was too low, and the strength of Zanpakuto relied on the soul strength. To advance from Shikai to Bankai, you need a very powerful soul. The strength and mental power were not up to before, but now Ronan is already enough. The cultivation method obtained by signing in, the ancient chi refining technique, the increase in combat power is not exaggerated, and even the increase in physical strength is not large, but it can greatly increase the lifespan. The reason is that this technique will increase with the level of cultivation. The increase in the strength of the soul and mental power. The strength of the soul and the strength of the spirit are complementary. The soul is the water tank, and the spirit power is water. The size and strength of the water tank determines how much water can be stored. And Ronan's mental power and soul strength at this moment are very strong, and it is completely enough for Zanpakuto Bankai. Bankai's Zanpakuto is many times stronger than Shikai. How strong is it? Humph. When Golden Lion heard Ronan's words, he became angry again. He immediately attacked Ronan again. This time it was not the tentative attack before, but directly used lion fruit to float his body on it. In midair, the double knives on both legs that replaced the legs and feet were instantly removed and replaced with double-handed knives. As a second swordsman, the double knives were more than twice as powerful when they were in their hands. He is ready to make a real move. Ronan, I don't want to teach you a lesson, you really don't know that the sky is so great, today I will teach you how to behave. Golden Lion yelled and fought with two knives, and his figure quickly flew towards Ronan. The lightning was fast, like thunder. The two knives in his hand turned into two aurora, with the power of tearing the air, cutting through. Tiantian slashed directly towards Ronan. Eat me with two swords and profound meaning. Advertisement. Ronan slowly raised his head, his expressionless face saw no signs of anxiety or panic. Some were just calm. He didn't pay attention to Golden Lion's thunderous attack. He spoke calmly. Bankai. Senbon Sakura Jingyan. Brush. Vivid red, countless bright and colorful light spots turned into countless petals falling from midair. These countless petals of light rain looked beautiful, but in fact it was extremely dangerous, containing a terrifying murderous intent, and the extremely sharp sword aura contained in it, with infinite lethality. Jing Jing Senbon Sakura Jingyan, Ronan's whispered words fell. Immediately, among the countless petals, dozens of slender silver-white blades appeared around Ronan. The guard was around him. The petals of countless light spots drifted toward him. The gathering of dozens of blades makes these blades more cohesive, sharper, and more powerful. Kill. Ronan shot a sharp gaze in his eyes, looking at the golden lion who was rushing over, spit out a word, and then dozens of blades followed the direction of Ronan's swing. Yin. Chi 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 chi. An extremely fierce collision and clashing sound came from the battle area, and an extremely fierce air wave exploded. Ronan's figure did not retreat, but his opponent, Golden Lion, screamed from the center of the explosion. Ah! After a scream, the screams of screams were submerged by the scream of mad sword strangulation, and the Golden Lion's voice disappeared without a trace. When Ronan put away Bankai Zanpakuto, only a pool of blood and 2 famous knives were left in the field, and the arrogant Golden Lion had disappeared and was completely strangled by the attack of Bankai State Senbon Sakura. Chapter 73 The Great Wave is damaged. Go to Gaia Island to repair the ship. Is it over? Seeing this situation, Orovia and others couldn't help but look at each other. Is it so simple? Isn't it? Robin was speechless. That golden retriever was so arrogant just now, that's it. Yelena has a different opinion on this. It should be over. Look, the golden-haired man has disappeared. It should be that Captain Ronan's move was too powerful, so he killed the opponent with one move. Yeah, too strong. Captain Ronan is too strong. Kuruman exclaimed excitedly. Look, there are only 2 knives on the deck over there. That person is gone, he must have been killed. Dead, my god, what a great captain. Hey, the deck is broken. Robin looked at the deck where the 2 were fighting, but found that the deck was affected by the aftermath of the fight, and a large area had been damaged. Fortunately, it did not damage the bottom of the ship and did not have much impact on the navigation. As long as there is no heavy rain, there will be no big problems. It's really damaged, and they fight too fiercely. Although it seems to us only for a short while, if such a powerful attack falls on us. Kuruman couldn't help but shudder. Fortunately, we have Captain Ronan, so we are not afraid of any enemies at all. Irina nodded and said. Let's go and take a look. Orovia said. By the way, look at the problem with the deck, whether the damage is serious or not, and see if it can be repaired. If there is a big problem, we may not be able to withstand the water safely. The capital. But we don't have a boatman on board. Robin said distressedly. It seems that we will have to find a good boatman partner in the future. I heard that there are a lot of powerful boatsmiths in the water. Look for them when you get there, you can definitely find them. As they said, they had already come to Ronan's side, and there was a moment of concern. Ronan, are you okay? Orovia looked at Ronan all over, but didn't see any scars on his body, and his nervous expression relaxed. I'm okay, what can I do? Ronan waved Zanpakuto away, and clapped his hands relaxedly. It's just a golden lion, and it can't hurt me. This guy is just a big name. Really speaking of strength, it's not so good, just at Garp Zephyr's level. Advertisement. It's okay, it's okay. Orovia breathed a sigh of relief and said again and again. The opponent has already been defeated by you, then we should not encounter any accidents next. Well, it has been completely broken into slag, don't worry anymore. Ronan looked at the pool of bloodline, and his eyes fell on 2 famous knives. Although these 2 famous knives are good, they are really comparable. Using your own Zanpakuto, especially the Zanpakuto that can already be used in Bankai, is much better than the so-called supreme knife. Of course, even so, these 2 knives are also rare treasures. Any swordsman in this world would have to covet a famous knife when he saw it, but it fell into Roland's hands at this moment, and it was considered a good collection. That's right, the world's top famous knife is just a good collection in Ronan's hands. After Ronan took 2 knives, he watched and played for a while before throwing them into the cabin. This deck is seriously injured. Orovia and the others stood at the gap in the deck that had been damaged by the battle, looking annoyed, but there was nothing to do. Our ship is not going to repair the deck planks, what should we do? Kuruman also frowned. Look at here, Captain Ronan, although the bottom of the ship below has not been damaged, some seawater has penetrated in. Yelena pointed to the water seepage under the deck and said to Ronan, we must quickly find an island to dock and repair. After a long time, the giant wave will be at risk of sinking. Even a half-hearted navigator, she understands that damage to the bottom of the ship will cause great damage to the ship, and she must dock as soon as possible. Water seepage at the bottom of the boat, this is indeed a problem. Ronan also frowned, thinking for a moment and said, how far are we from the water city? How long will it take to reach the water city? Can we go directly to the water city? We can simply repair the water seepage so that we can sustain it. Are you all? A little difficult. Irina carefully looked at the bottom of the boat and shook her head. There is no big problem in a short time, but we still have at least 5 days to travel to the water capital. I can't guarantee that all bad weather can be completely avoided on the road. It will be worse after a storm. If it is worse than a tsunami, it will directly break the bottom of the ship. As that's so. Advertisement. Ronan thought for a while and said, then, let's make a simple repair first, and then hurry up. You look at the chart again, and you can see the nearest island that you don't have to rely on. Let's stop and repair it before heading to the water city. Good. Elena nodded quickly, and then ran towards the cabin with a small step. When he returned with the chart, Ronan and Orovia and others had already jumped off the bottom of the boat and started repairing. After looking at the chart for a while, Elena said, Captain Ronan, we are on our current route. We can encounter a large island after a day and a half of the journey ahead. Listen to the prosperous ones, and you can definitely repair the ship. Oh, what island? The voyage of a day and a half is not long. Ronan's voice came from below. That island is called Gaia Island, and we can completely repair the ship there and then head towards the land of water. Elena said. It doesn't take much time to simply dock and repair the ship. Gaia Island. You can stop there. Ronan smiled slightly. Of course he knows what island this is. There is also a sky island above Gaia Island. Enel lives there, but I don't know if Enel has come to this sky island at this time. Maybe he is now dominating the sky island where his original hometown is. The main thing is that there is a historical inscription on the sky island, and it happened to stop there for Orovia and Robin to interpret the inscription. Well, since the captain has made your decision, then I am ready to turn the rudder and change the course. Irina immediately laughed when Ronan agreed to her proposal. In fact, we don't have to rush to repair the ship and leave when we call on Gaia Island this time. We are not in a hurry. There is no need to rush towards the water capital. Ronan looked at the other women and said, the main purpose of our traveler pirates is to visit the major islands. This Gaia Island has a very magical legend. Maybe there are some interesting things. Hey. Upon hearing this, Robin immediately became interested, and without mending the bottom of the boat, he immediately pestered Ronan to tell her stories. Chapter 74, Hustler Robbery. Big Sheep or Big Bad Wolf. A day and a half later, the sky was almost in the evening, and the sun was setting, and a large ship arrived at the port of Gaia Island. This ship was the Julong. In a day and a half, Ronan and the others were very lucky and did not encounter any stormy weather. They arrived safely on Gaia Island. Although the water seepage at the bottom of the ship became more serious, the speed of the ship was greatly affected. Well, before the night came, I finally reached the destination. Fortunately, we arrived. Standing on the side of the ship, Elena looked at the port from far and near, and couldn't help but say with joy. According to the water seepage at the bottom of the ship, if it is dragged for another day, even if there is no storm, it will definitely sink the ship. Quote. It's okay now. Didn't we go to Gaia Island? Orovia smiled, packing up his things and preparing to disembark. When you get here, you can find someone to help repair the bottom of the boat. It's almost night. Wait for us. Just go to the boatman and ask him to repair us overnight. It should be almost done in one night, right? This is estimated to be difficult. It may take 1 day and 1 night. Tomorrow we will stay on this island for 1 day, and then set off the day after tomorrow. Irina thought for a while and said, in order to prevent severe weather, we definitely can't for simple repairs, you have to let the boatman do a good job of repairing it. If you need to replace a lot of ship boards, plus some other work, 1 night may not be enough. It doesn't matter. Ronan next to him walked over and said, 1 day and 1 night, 1 day and 1 night. By the way, when you find the boatman, don't let him fix it overnight. Let him fix it tomorrow. Just do it today. Don't let the bottom of the boat keep the water seeping and don't sink the boat tomorrow morning. Okay. Elena nodded in response. Let's clean up and disembark. We will find a better restaurant for a good meal. Ronan said loudly. Yeah, you can have a big meal. Robin cheered suddenly. Karaman on the side immediately glared at Robin. Robin, don't you like the food I make? Isn't the food I make a big meal? Forehead. Upon hearing this, Robin, who was still cheering just now, suddenly paused in embarrassment. He didn't know whether to put them down or keep holding them. Advertisement. It's not that, Karaman, of course, the food you make is also very delicious, it's the best I've ever tasted. Robin's eyes turned, and he hurriedly ran to Karaman and began to apologize in a low voice. Otherwise, her stomach would be offended in the future, she would offend the cook on the boat, and it would be a big problem if there is no good food to eat in the future. Then I think you are so happy to hear that you are going to the island to have a big meal. I thought the food I made was awful. Karaman snorted. No, it's not a pull. Robin quickly explained. I mean, this Gaia Island must have some special food, some special specialties, etc. You should also want to see some special ingredients. I think you can try to cook some new dishes. Isn't that your original idea of going to sea with us? By the way, you can also learn how to cook with the chefs of other restaurants. Yes. When Karaman heard this, his eyes suddenly lighted up, with a very interested look. Then, let's get off the boat quickly. I can't wait to see what will happen on this island. Where's the specialty ingredients? I'm looking forward to it. Robin saw that Karaman changed his attitude, wiped the sweat on his forehead, and then helped Karaman clean up. Orovia and Elena next to this scene were dumbfounded. These two guys are really skinny. After tidying up, the group got off the ship. First, they found a shipsmith's factory next to the port that specializes in repairing ships in the port. After paying the deposit, they asked the other party to take over the Julong and arrange the repairs. After the arrangements were completed, just left the port and headed towards the bustling city on Gaia Island closest to the port. And just as Ronan and his party left the repair factory talking and laughing, at the door of the repair shop in the port, there were a few thin young people staring at the backs of the leaving, whispering to each other. The newcomer who just came to Gaia Island has a few children, just an adult, and a woman. I took a sneak peek just now, and the woman gave old Furui a deposit of 100,000 baileys all at once, as if to repair the big ship in the harbor. I ran over to see that big ship just now. It's not small, it's a big fat sheep. Hey, we are going to make a lot of money this time. I don't know where the rich family members come from, but they don't even bring any guards. It's really cheap for us. Don't worry about whether they bring a guard or not. If we have something to do with us, it is estimated that the big band of thieves can dare to start. I'm going to inform the boss now. You have been keeping a close eye on you all the way, but don't lose it. By the way, be careful not to leak the news and be discovered by those big thieves. Advertisement. Clear. A few dozen minutes later, when Ronan and his party arrived in the prosperous city near the port, Ronan couldn't help showing a weird smile. The corner of his eyes curled up in a corner of the wall behind him. There were several figures. The thin young man followed his party all the way, not knowing what idea he had made. Among the group, no one except Ronan found the other party. Although there were reasons why they were ordinary people, it was mainly because the other party was very careful. Even Robin, who had devil fruit, didn't find it. But the other party couldn't keep it from Ronan, let alone these ordinary guys. With Ronan's current observation Haki's perception strength, there are really few people in this world who can hide their deeds to satisfy him, even those who have those with the ability of the stealth-type devil fruit are not expected to work. It's up to you to see what ideas you have made, as an adjustment to a leisurely life. Ronan walked leisurely, with his hands on the back of his head. He didn't pay attention to these little guys at all, and the other party really couldn't let Ronan get much interest, so he had the right to use it as a game. A few minutes later, when Robin and Karaman were looking around at the shops on both sides of the street and discussing which one to go to, there was a rush of footsteps behind them, and then a loud shout came over. Stop! The people in front stop me! Ronan was not surprised at all, and the others were taken aback by the sudden burst of shout. Who are these people? Robin watched in surprise as a group of fierce guys appeared behind him and surrounded himself and others. Who are you? Why are you surrounding us? Karaman also frowned and asked. What do you want to do? Orovia asked with a frown, and then looked at Ronan who was aside. Ronan shrugged his shoulders indifferently, indicating not to worry, which made Orovia immediately relieved. A group of scornful guys sneered for a while, then leaned slightly to let go, with a respectful expression, as if they were coming from a great man. What else do we do? How many people? You just stole a lot of money from us and want to run. Chapter 75 Money Thief. Robin shot. What came out more and more was a short and sturdy adult man with a fierce complexion and full face. When he spoke, his face was still trembling, holding a short sword in his hand, and looking at Ronan with an angry expression. What? We stole your money. Robin, Elena and the others were at a loss. We stole your money. Why don't we know? Orovia didn't speak, but just frowned and glanced at the bandits surrounding him and the others. They were all wicked and irritated, and understood clearly. Obviously, the so-called stealing of money by these people was just an excuse, for nothing more than an excuse. A reason for doing something to yourself and others. I didn't expect to encounter such a bad thing just when I came to Gaia Island. Orovia thought, glanced at Ronan, who was silent next to him, but saw Ronan's eyes indicating that he didn't need to worry, so he stopped thinking about it. Hey, we didn't steal your money. Did you make a mistake? Over there, Elena explained to others with a serious look. She really thought that the other party had stolen the money, but mistakenly thought that she and others had stolen it, so she quickly opened Shiki and released it. Yeah, we didn't steal your money, we don't even know you. Karaman also said, we just got off the ship and came here. We came to the port only to go to a boatman's ship repair yard. I haven't been to other places. How could you steal your money? You must be mistaken. Well, if you catch the money thief, you should look for it elsewhere, but don't be ran away by the thief too late. Robin also nodded and said, Hey. Seeing this, the short and strong man in the lead couldn't help but laugh, feeling that these people are really naive, really thinking that he and others are here to catch money thief. Ridiculous big sheep. I don't know how these guys survive in the sea. Coming down, just these little kids and an adult woman dare to go to sea. It was a bit strange, but he didn't think much about it. For now, it's reasonable to let the other party keep the money. You don't need to quibble, it was you who stole it. When you stole the money, we saw it with our own eyes. A thin and tall man beside the short man sneered and pointed to the package in Robin's hands and said, Quickly Diane will return the 500,000 baileys that we stole, otherwise, don't blame us for taking it back by ourselves. Robin, Elena Orovia and others are carrying some small packages. They do have some money and some clothing. After all, there are places to spend money after landing, and the giant wave needs to be repaired. At that time, there will be a boatman on the boat, and you cannot put some valuables on the boat. Advertisement. Upon hearing the other party's words, Robin's eyes widened suddenly, clutching the strap of the backpack behind him tightly, and looking at each other warily. Although she was naive, she was not stupid. Before, he really thought that the other party was here to catch the thief. But now you can see the tone of the other party's words, these people are here to rob property. You guys, are you here to rob? Robin glared at him. Ha. The gangsters around heard the words, and immediately looked at each other and laughed. Do these guys understand now? It's so innocent and too cute, it's an ignorant fat sheep. We are not robbed, just come to get back the money that belongs to us. The short man looked at Robin with a grin, Little girl, if you know you, please give us back the money quickly. Otherwise, you will be a little shameless in the waiting. Our brothers are very cruel. He he he. You, shameless. Robin's angry little face flushed, and he was speechless. You are too bullying. Irina also looked at each other angrily, and she couldn't help but turn her eyes to Ronan, who was standing behind him, who was silent. She secretly said that Captain Ronan still didn't do anything. This group of gangsters bullied herself to the point of waiting for others. I came up and wronged them for stealing money. Damn it. Captain. Karaman looked at Ronan very directly, with anticipation on his face, hoping that Ronan would take action to solve the problem. These people were obviously here to squander the money. If this really caused the other party to squander the money, it would be 500,000 shells. Lee, the sum of their money is almost the same. They will have to eat and drink later, and tomorrow they will have to give the remaining ship repair money. It will cost almost the same. I definitely can't really give the money to the other party. How wrong to wait for someone to steal money without actually stealing money. Don't look at me, this kind of little girl is not worth my own hands. Ronan waved his hand indifferently. Then he looked at Robin and continued. Robin, these people are not capable people, they are just ordinary people with strong bodies. You should be able to solve it, right? Huh, me. Robin was a little stunned. He didn't expect Ronan to let her take action against this group of people, but it's right to think about it carefully. These little guys are really not worthy of Ronan, a big master, to take action. It's really too fussy. With that said, he is indeed the only one who can make a move. For others, Orovia, the mother of the only adult in the package, is just an ordinary person. Advertisement. And she is the only capable person besides Ronan in the team. Ronan is not ready to make a move, then she is the only one. Robin took a deep breath. There was no fear in his heart, and even a little excitement. Is it finally his turn to show his talents? Hurry up, haven't you thought about it? If we don't get the money out quickly, we're going to make a move. Over there, the short man is already a little anxious. A group of his own strong men besieged each other's women, children here. What else does the other party think? If they have the courage to resist, the strength of the two sides is simply not proportional. If you do, you should immediately kneel down and beg for mercy, and give up all your money as the right choice. Since you don't know each other, don't blame me for being cruel. The short man glanced at Orovia, but saw that she was still motionless. He couldn't help but angered. Give me up and beat all these women to the ground. Since they don't take the initiative to hand over the money, then we will take it back by ourselves. Ha ha ha. Boss, it should have been like this long ago. These women won't cry without seeing the coffin. It's useless to say so much. A yellow-haired youth next to him laughed and rushed towards Orovia. Yes, boss, after we get the money, we can go to the port to get the ship that these guys are on. It's a big ship, and it can be sold for a lot of money. The other man looked on. Said greedily. Hey, why don't you get it done quickly? The short man smiled. It seems that whether it is Ronan and the crowd or the giant wave on the harbor are already in his bag, he looks triumphant, and even laughed out loud. After this trip, I can make a lot of money. But at this moment, Robin shot. What? A scream was screamed from the gangster who rushed to Orovia at the beginning, and all the gangsters in the room fell into a daze. Looking intently, they couldn't help but widen their eyes and saw a scene that shocked them incomparably. Chapter 76 Robin's debut. Disabled all. I saw the man rushing towards Orovia and fell to the ground with a puff. His neck was twisted, and his neck was twisted by a hand emerging from the back of his head. He screamed and died on the spot. This one really shocked the other gangsters present. Even the gangsters who rushed out trembled and stopped. They looked at the girls on the opposite side with a little amazement. These were like sheep in their eyes. Ordinary girls are now as terrifying as evil dragons. Robin folded his hands in front of him and looked at these guys with a pouting face and angrily. You guys damn it, dare to start our idea and want to rob the property. If you don't give you a lesson, you still I thought we were so bullied. Hiss. The answer to Robin was a cold breath. Including the leading short man, all looked at Robin in amazement. It was obvious that the companion just died in the hands of this little girl, and the others stopped moving, looking at Robin with some fear, and then at the short man. What to do next still needs him to make a decision. The short man's face was uncertain, and he looked at Robin gloomily. The capable man, you turned out to be the capable man. Huh, yes, I'm demon fruit power, do you know you are scared? Robin raised his head triumphantly and said that he could be alone now, and looking at the other person's appearance, he was obviously shocked by his own methods, maybe he was already scared to pee. Damn it, I didn't expect that there is a capable person among you, no wonder. No wonder you such a group of people dare to go to sea by boat, it turns out to be dependent on it. The short man was also a little surprised. He was wondering before, with the configuration of these people in front of him, he would dare to go to sea. An adult woman dared to go to sea with a few underage girls, and had not been swallowed by the hungry wolves on the sea. This is outrageous. Advertisement. And now, he immediately understood Robin's methods. It turned out that the opponent also has a whole card. There is a capable person. The ordinary little pirate is not an opponent. The capable person, let alone the world, even if it's in grand lines are also very rare. Once they appear, they are generally much stronger than ordinary people. In addition to those with the same ability, those who can deal with abilities are only those who have cultivated other abilities, such as swordsmanship, and marine 6 styles, etc., or, Directly use people to pile up, use a lot of ships to go head to head. But now, he and others are just a group of ordinary bandits who make a living by robbery. Can they be opponents of the other party? The short man couldn't help but fall into contemplation. He and others are just ordinary people. Can he defeat a capable person? After thinking about it, the stocky man raised his head and looked at Robin. His eyes narrowed slightly. Although the opponent is a capable person, but she is very young, just a little girl, and she won't be too powerful if we want to. We are many. Maybe it can beat her. The most important thing is that this is a capable person, who can be seized and sold as a slave. A capable person can definitely sell a lot of money, right? Single quote. In the end, the greed in his heart made the short man take his risk. He raised his head and looked at Robin viciously, and shouted, "Don't think that you are a capable person and you will win. No matter how you say you are just a kid, we are comparable. You have a lot more. Huh, don't be afraid, give them all to me, quickly solve her." Yes. The gangsters saw the boss's order. Although there was a little fear in their eyes, the boss was right. There are more people on one side than the other, and the person with this ability is just a little girl, so you can't be scared. That would be shameful. As a result, the gangsters bit their teeth, showed a cruel face, and rushed forward, preparing to quickly defeat Robin. Damn it, you guys underestimated me. Robin was a little angry. She thought she would be able to restrain these ordinary punks with a single shot. After all, the opponent is not capable. It takes a lot of courage for ordinary people to dare to attack capable ones. They are not those who are well trained. The seamen, not the pirates who cross the ocean, how dare you? Obviously, the other party thought that she was a bully because of her young age. This really angered Robin. She originally intended to scare the other party away, but now it seems that it is not working. She must teach the other party a huge lesson. Row. Robin made a small face, and immediately moved his hands slightly, muttering, "Flowers under my feet." Spinning flowers. When the voice fell, all the rushing gangsters felt something was wrong. They looked down and suddenly frightened. Arms grew on their legs. These arms quickly extended and grew, and then twisted. With a click on their legs, all the thugs who rushed in were broken off their legs. Advertisement. Puff through puff through. There was a sound of falling to the ground, and all the bullies who rushed over fell to the ground, making screams and screams. Almost all of them were crippled by Robin's move. Robin, who was kind-hearted, still had no killer, but just beat. It's just that the opponent was disabled. Unlike the previous person, that person rushed directly to his mother Orovia. Robin had no choice but to kill him. She didn't dare to bet that the opponent would not attack Orovia. Only to protect Orovia's safety will he be ruthless. At this time, Robin chose to be merciful when he was sure, but he only interrupted all of these people's legs, so that at least the other party could no longer do bad things in a short period of time. Call. After defeating so many people with her ability at once, even Robin felt a little tired. Now she is not like she grew up. She is also very simple in the development of flower fruit, and the use of her abilities can't be sustained, just for a while. Very tired, but fortunately, he has almost solved the opponent, only one leader is left. Now, do you have anything else to say? Robin wiped the sweat on his forehead, and said to the short man, "If you have the courage, please continue to come and see if I won't break your neck." Robin had decided in her heart that if the person in the lead of the opponent dared to continue to make a move, she would brutally kill the opponent. You. The leading short man widened his eyes and saw that Robin was able to defeat so many of his men. He couldn't help but trembled. He felt that he had misjudged the opponent's abilities. A little girl was so powerful. It is incredible. Immediately, there was a retreat in his heart. He didn't want to lose his life here, but at this moment, he noticed the sweat on Robin's forehead and his trembling arms in detail. Immediately, his eyes lit up and the opponent could no longer make a move. Suddenly, he shot so many people at once. It must have been weak, and no longer have the ability to continue to do it. Chapter 77. Kill. Ronan. Gaia Island is nervous. The short man observed carefully again, not letting go of a little detail. Sure enough, he saw the unconcealed worry in the eyes of Orovia looking at Robin next to him. Elena and Karaman were also looking at Robin worriedly. Ronan, who was hiding behind the women, said nothing, watching the big show in a very leisurely manner. He, ha ha ha, are you just bluffing? The short man suddenly laughed. He didn't seem to put Robin's threat in his eyes at all. In his opinion, Robin is definitely at the end of the force at this moment. After all, even if he is a terrifying capable person, he is just a man. It's just a child. It's definitely not that simple to hit so many people at once. At this moment, there is absolutely no ability to continue. The short man felt that he had seen everything, and next, it would be his home court. Do you think I'm just bluffing? Robin was taken aback for a moment, and then looked at the other party in a bit of astonishment. Does his exhausted appearance make the other party feel that it is difficult for him to continue to make a move? It's really possible, but I just feel tired. This is the first time I have made such a full shot. In fact, I can continue to make shots, at least there is no problem with the short man in front of me. Moreover, even if I really can't make any more shots, there is still a world-famous existence behind myself and others. The proud appearance of the other party really makes her speechless. He doesn't know. It's best to escape now. The choice. That's right, the other party hasn't recognized him and the others yet, it's the proof. Ronan, who is the most famous, hid behind him and didn't show up. The reputation of himself and others is not loud enough, and it's normal that the other party can't recognize them. But, are you really still not leaving? Are you really cold? However, the short man on the opposite side firmly believed his guess. He suddenly took out a pistol from his arms. As a group of robbers who rob pedestrians in the port area of Gaia Island, ordinary bandits don't have firearms and can only do so holding some swords as weapons, but as the leader, he obtained a pistol as a trump card from several other bandits through relationships. And now, it's time for him to play this whole card. Although he was sure in his heart that the opponent was unable to fight anymore, he was unwilling to risk rushing to defeat Robin. Instead, he took out his pistol to wound Robin from a distance. He didn't, ready to kill Robin, and hoped to sell Robin to make money. Hee, accident, right. I have a gun. Advertisement. The short man looked at Robin triumphantly. The pistol was pointed at Robin's legs. With his pistol proficiency, shooting at such a short distance was absolutely certain to injure Robin's leg. If you put your legs up and down, you will surely pass out in a coma. Isn't it at his mercy? As for the others, after solving demon fruit power, are other people still a threat to him? It's not a problem at all. The short man grinned and was about to shoot Robin in the leg, however. Go to hell, sure enough, I shouldn't have thought of letting you go. Robin looked at the opponent angrily, moving his hands, several arms appeared from the opponent's arm, heart and back. In the opponent's horrified eyes, the hand that grew on his arm pinched his gun hand and twisted the direction, and the hard mouth in the hand growing from behind firmly grasped his neck, twisting slightly. Click. After a crisp sound, the short man turned his head, his eyes dimmed with regret, and his neck was completely twisted to death. Call. Robin exhaled for a long time, and it was finally over. This guy is really difficult, but he still underestimates himself. Let's get it now. Let's take your own life into it, huh? Ronan nodded when he saw Robin's first match ended. Although it was not perfect, it was a good experience. Robin, who was the first to deal with such a big scene, has done a good job. Ronan gave a few words of encouragement and Robin laughed, but his face was still a little pale. After all, she killed someone, and there were a group of people on the ground. The man with the broken leg is wailing. This scene is really miserable. Orovia and others hurriedly pulled Robin, seeing that she was just a little bit weak and tired, and then relieved. Okay, let's continue to look for the restaurant, leave these guys alone. Ronan glanced at the wounded people everywhere, and didn't want to care about these people at all. If you want to wait for a meeting, someone will definitely take care of it. Some people passing by not far away have noticed here. Well, let's leave quickly, otherwise it might be a little troublesome if we are discovered by other people in this city. Advertisement. Irina also said, she also didn't want to stay here for a long time. There are wounded in one place, and there are 2 corpses. It's better to leave early. As a result, everyone left this place. After a while, a group of patrolling Marines came here, and they immediately changed color. They quickly contacted other people to deal with the situation here. The matter passed up. What makes them so nervous is not the death of 2 people or the injury of so many people, but the fact that they learned of the people they encountered from the wounded robbers. These guys don't know Ronan and his party, but they can be used as seamen. No. Ronan, the son of the devil, is here. Suddenly, the entire Marine stationed on Gaia Island was shaken and nervous. What? Luo, Ronan, son of the devil. Are you sure? At the Marine station in Gaia Island, the Marine officers who received the news looked at each other, and then all their faces looked ugly, some were blue, some were pale, all were extremely nervous, and their eyes were full of fear. Ronan is here on Gaia Island. Isn't it? Colonel Marine, who was sitting at the top, said with trembling lips. Quickly, let me know, don't mess with this evil star. Another Marine Lieutenant Colonel quickly got up and said, as if Ronan had been killed when he was late to inform. Yes. Hurry up and inform all the seamen on Gaia Island. If anyone dares to provoke Ronan, I will break his leg. The Colonel Marine, who was sitting at the head, recovered and immediately issued an order. Gave this order. If you want to die, don't drag us down. All the Marine officers around are anxious, wanting to let this news spread to all the sea soldiers on Gaia Island, and praying that these guys will not provoke Ronan. Otherwise, while they are looking for death on their own, they may also anger Ronan and make them die. So, as the news passed, all the seamen at the bottom of Gaia Island knew the news. Ronan is here. The son of the demon who defeated the 2 top admiral powers in the legend is here. Chapter 78 Sign into Gaia Island. Reward. Storage ring. Ronan and his party who were walking into a restaurant naturally didn't know that the Marines of Gaia Island had been scared to pee because of him. Several people have already started the feast, and after sitting around a table, they started ordering. The person who ordered is not someone else. It is the chef from East Blue, Karaman. She naturally wants to taste it. Gaia Island gourmets even wanted to go to the back kitchen, but unfortunately, they were driven out by others. This, and this, all come a little. Karaman ordered a crazy meal, as if he was spreading his anger on the food waiting for the meeting. This restaurant is really irritating, and he won't let her go. After visiting the kitchen, she was so angry that she gave the restaurant chef a decisive battle on the spot, but unfortunately, she was ignored by others. This apparently underestimated situation made Karaman a little angry, but she was still going to eat in this restaurant, and she would have to pick the other side well later. After a while, all kinds of delicacies were on the table. Ronan and the others started to eat and drink. Karaman also started to eat. As he ate, his eyes lit up. Yes, the taste is indeed okay. It's a little worse than what I did. Well, it's delicious, delicious, really delicious. Robin gobbled up his food. Hearing Karuman's muttering, he almost choked. This guy is still angry. The chef in this restaurant is it. The food is obviously better than what you cook, right? As expected of the chef on the Grand Line, what he cooks is delicious. Elena on one side also said in admiration, but as soon as he finished speaking, he saw Karuman who was darkened on the side. Abundant ingredients. If these ingredients are made for you, it will definitely be more delicious than this. It's about the same. Karaman nodded in satisfaction, and then said, we don't have too many good ingredients on the boat. Usually I can only make simple food. It's definitely not comparable to the ones here. This is not my reason. This is indeed a reason, not only the ingredients, but also the seasoning. It's easy. Let's go buy some ingredients here tomorrow, as well as other ingredients and so on. Ronan said indifferently. But, isn't our money not enough? Yelena said hesitantly. It's not enough. I have to give someone else the boatman to repair the boat tomorrow. Orovia continued. Most of the money everyone used was obtained when they eliminated the Hegman pirates when they were on Jim Island, and most of them stayed on Jim Island. They only got a small part, and they spent a lot of money on this journey. Now, there are only less than 300,000 Baileys left on Guy Island. After the deposit of 100,000 Baileys is paid, there are more than 200,000 Baileys left. After the ship is repaired, the remaining 100,000 Baileys will be paid, and the rest will be 100,000. Don't worry, it will be fine when we get to the Water City, someone will give us money over there, 1 billion Baileys. Ronan said lightly that the world government still owes himself 1 billion Baileys, and that there will be no shortage of money by then. Advertisement. But, Ronan, didn't you mean to build a big ship? Orovia frowned and said, if it's an ordinary ship, it's okay. If you spend tens of millions of Baileys, and even more than 1 or 2 billion Baileys, you can build a flagship of the great pirate group, but you said before. The ship to be built seems to cost more. What ship costs so much money? Ronan raised a mouth before and wanted to build a new ship in the City of Water. According to Ronan, it seemed that it would cost most of the billion Baileys. What kind of ship was so expensive? It's a very powerful ship. Ronan raised his brows, and still didn't say yet to build a Pluton. Let's talk about it in the Water City. Speaking of this, I don't know if the Pluton drawings of Frankie are still in the Water City. The original works were burned down, but according to the current time, it seems that the drawings are still there. In the whole world, apart from the drawings in Ronan's hands, there are also drawings about Pluton in Frankie's series, right? Don't care about this, let's see when the time comes. If Frankie's teacher is unwilling to build it for himself, he can still make it if he has the drawings and find other shipyards, but the drawings are at risk of leakage. After a while, after everyone had finished eating, they found a place to rest and sleep after paying for the meal. That night, after everyone fell asleep, Ronan started his sign-in business. Every time he arrived on a new island, it was a good time for him to sign in. Ronan now doesn't go to small places to sign in. Every time he arrives at an island, he signs on to the entire island directly. Only in this way can he get a bigger reward. Otherwise, it's just like in Ohara. Except for the similar novice rewards at the beginning, most of the time he signed in was just a few potions. Now he has a lot of potions. A small part of it was accumulated in Ohara at the beginning, and most of them were in the past. Accumulated during East Blue's travels. He is basically signing into the entire island now. If he wants to sign in on Guy Island, he should get a good reward. System, sign into the entire Guy Island. Ronan said while lying on the bed, and suddenly he asked hurriedly, I signed in here on Guy Island, won't I sign in with Sky Island in the sky? Then Sky, it seems that part of the island was washed up in the air after it was separated from Guy Island. They will not sign in together. The two belong to two different places. At present, host cannot sign in these two places together. The system said, congratulations, host, successfully signed into Guy Island, get a reward, storage ring 1. Storage ring. When Ronan heard the words, his eyes lit up. Sure enough, it's a good thing, haha, it's better to sign directly to the entire island. Ronan immediately opened the system panel and saw that the storage ring was lying quietly in the system space. Without a word, he immediately picked it up. A bronze ring appeared in his hand. Ronan lowered his head and took a closer look. This ring was like a ring in a film called The Lord of the Rings, in the real world, simple and unobtrusive. Ronan took the ring in his hand, and then tried it according to the method of use transmitted by the system. When he touched the ring with mental power, he immediately sensed that there was an internal space of about 10 cubic meters in the ring. 10 cubic meters of space was definitely already, it's not too small, big objects can't be put down, but some daily necessities are definitely not a problem, even some small arms and the like are no problem. Ronan nodded in satisfaction, then thought for a while and said, System, call up my attribute panel. Host. Ronan. Advertisement. Age. 11 years old. Physique. 137. Strength. 130. Agility. 134. Spirit. 183. Conqueror's Haki. LV9. Observation Haki. LV2. Armament Haki. LV2. Flowing Cloud Sword. LV9. Mera-mera Fruit. LV9. Marine 6 Styles. LV9. Prehistoric Chi refining technique. The third stage of the mortal realm. Air dance. LV12. Zanpakudo. Bankai. Healing potions. 36 bottles. Psychopharmaceutical. 27 bottles. Physical potion. 45 bottles. Longevity potion. 8 bottles. Sunwheel knife. Quick travel talisman. Giant wave. Pluton drawings. Chapter 79. Threesome. Go to Sky Island. Looking at his attribute panel, Ronan looked satisfied. Although he did not deliberately practice in the past few days, his four-dimensional attributes are still slowly increasing. Even the armament Haki he just obtained has improved by one level. Armament Haki, it doesn't directly increase his attribute value, but it is an active skill. Under armament Haki, it can quickly increase the defense and offensive capabilities. Like Garp and Zephyr, they have already cultivated the armed color to a very high level. Although Ronan did not deliberately practice, armament Haki is still improving steadily. This is related to his own strong strength, and the starting point is much higher than others. After watching for a while, Ronan fell asleep with satisfaction. Early the next morning, everyone had breakfast and returned to the port. The shipyard in the port had already sent people to work on the giant wave. Ronan led people to purchase supplies while watching the progress of the ship's repairs. Unexpectedly, the Julong repaired faster than everyone thought. A few guests, we also have a lot of excellent boat craftsmen in our ship repairing yard. Under our rush, we can repair them in the evening at most. The old man in the shipyard confidently waved the tool in his hand and said, "Okay, I will leave the ship repairing to you, Mr. Fury." Orovia politely said to the old man in front of him that the old man is the owner of the ship repair yard, and he is also a very good boatman. I heard that he had studied in the City of Water. Maybe it is nothing to put in the City of Water, but here in Gaia Island, it is terrific. No one knows the name of Lao Furui on the whole island. He is one of the best boatmen in Gaia Island. Robin and others are even more looking forward to the City of Water at this moment. An old boatman who has studied in the City of Water is so good, so how good are the top boaters in the City of Water? Maybe you can really find a very, very powerful shipsmith partner in the City of Water. The ship was handed over to Old Fury, and Ronan and the others left the port again. What are we going to do next? Advertisement. Robin asked boringly, go shopping. I can't help but taste the food in major restaurants. I don't believe that other restaurants won't let me in the kitchen. Karaman suggested that she still had a grudge about the restaurant's denial of her in the back kitchen last night. I think I should look for some great navigators, and learn about navigators. But Irina wanted to learn about sailing. During this period of time, she has become more and more aware of the half-hearted sailing knowledge she has learned before. Some are stretched, and I have to learn more and richer navigation knowledge. How about this? Ronan thought for a while and said, I have heard some legends about this island of Gaia. I seem to have mentioned some of them to you before, but I didn't elaborate. I heard that there is a Sky Island exists, and I think there must be something worth exploring on that island. Sky Island. When several people heard this, their eyes suddenly widened. They had heard of the legend of Sky Island, even Karuman and Elena had heard of it, but they had heard it as a fairy tale before. Now that Ronan mentioned it, it was definitely not a fairy tale, but true. Everyone was a little eager to try. However, it is very troublesome to go up to Sky Island. Ronan continued. I can fly, but I can't take all of you up, so I don't know how long it will take to run back and forth, so be it. Robin, you and Karuman Yelena stay here on Gaia Island. Didn't Yelena want to learn the navigator knowledge? Isn't Karuman going to meet the cooking skills of other chefs? You do this on Gaia Island regardless, Aunt Orovia and I can go to Sky Island. Sky Island. It would be a good idea to go to Sky Island for archaeology. Orovia said with joy at once. Sky Island is in the sky. It must have not been concealed by the historical information by the world government. There may be a lot of relevant information left. Maybe you can find the historical text. Inscription. Ronan smiled. Of course he knew that Sky Island did have an inscription, but he didn't say it clearly. Robin on the side was a little unhappy when she heard the words. She is also an archaeologist and dreams of studying the text of history, but now Ronan doesn't take her to Sky Island. How could she be happy? Ronan, can't you take me with me? Robin said with a pouting mouth. Advertisement. Isn't I worried about Elena and Karuman? Ronan explained. I went to Sky Island with Orovia. If you follow along, I will not worry if Elena and Karaman stay here. If you stay, you can still protect yourself. This. Robin retorted speechlessly. Indeed, Elena and Karaman are a navigator and the other is a chef. They don't have any self-protection ability at all. At least she is also a demon fruit power. Solved, such as those guys I met yesterday. As for the Marines, ha ha, on the way back to the port just now, Ronan and his team encountered several patrolling Marines. They hadn't officially met one by one. When they saw Ronan and his team from a distance, they changed their complexion and fled as if they were scared to pee. It was opened. Obviously, the other party already knew about his arrival, and he didn't dare to do anything to Robin and the three of them. They are still there. They dare to do it, that is, they are looking for death. But, Ronan was still a little worried. Finally, he took out Bankai's Zanpakudo and gave it to Robin for self-defense. He specifically confessed that Senbon Sakura was responsible for protecting the safety of the three women. Senbon Sakura was there and basically eliminated the safety problems of the three. As long as it's not at the level of Admiral 4 Emperors, there is basically no problem. But at this moment, Robin shouted again. Ronan, since you have left this powerful knife, it doesn't matter if I keep it or not, right? Looking at Robin's gleaming eyes, Ronan was a little speechless. Yes, just now I could just perfunctory. Now that he left Zanpakuto's words, it seems that there is really no need for Robin to stay. When Orovia saw this, she covered her mouth and smirked. This girl really wants to go to Sky Island with herself. Also, for a genius archaeologist like her own daughter, she must have encountered such a strange place as Sky Island. I am very eager to see it. Therefore, Orovia also looked at Ronan. Ronan, why don't you take Robin with you? Can you take 2 people with you when you fly? Chapter 80 The City of Gold and the Text of History. God Ganfer. If you can, it's just a little tired, no more. Ronan said helplessly. When Robin next to him heard Ronan agree to it, he immediately cheered, and then immediately handed Zanpakuto to Elena, and then he pulled Ronan's sleeves not to loosen it, as if he was afraid that Ronan would run away. After we leave, it's best for you two to act together. Ronan took care of Elena and said, don't disperse. The Marines may not dare to do anything to you, but those bandits and the like have no scruples. Yes, safety is the most important, no. Okay, don't worry, Captain, we will be careful. Elena and Karaman looked at each other, knowing that Ronan was concerned about their safety, and immediately nodded and said. Just understand. Ronan nodded, and then the people separated. Elena and Karaman went to the city, and Ronan took Orovia and Robin to a deserted place. You have grasped me. Ronan led Orovia and Robin hold his hands, and then activated the air dance. The whole person flew up in an instant, driving the two directly into the sky. This flying ability made them both in their hearts. Shocked, clutching Ronan's arm tightly, Orovia was better. Robin closed his eyes nervously and opened them for a while, but then looked at the surrounding clouds with a look of excitement. Wow, that's so high. Don't move, Robin. Orovia yelled worriedly, telling Robin not to move. Ronan took 2 people with him when he flew. If there is an accident at such a high altitude, it will basically be cold after falling through. It's okay, Aunt Orovia. Ronan didn't care. Although it was indeed difficult for Wukongshu to take 2 people, it was still within his acceptance range. Fly safely towards the sky. Mom, look over there, we have already flown above the clouds. Robin pointed to a large cloud not far away that blocked the ocean below Ngai Island. Yeah, I almost can't see the island below. Orovia is also looking down. As the 3 people continue to lift off, the island below is getting smaller and smaller. I almost can't see it anymore. It's not because of other things, but because the surrounding white clouds block the line of sight. Look at the above, it's Sky Island. Ronan smiled and looked up, watching the small black dot in the sky keep getting bigger. Now it has become a huge object, slowly drifting in the sky. When the 2 of them looked up, they saw an island hidden among the huge white clouds. They were surprised that the Sky Island was hidden among the huge clouds. No wonder it could not be seen on the ground or in the sea. Who can think of an island among the clouds in the sky? Advertisement. It's so spectacular. Yes, in the admiration of several people, but for a short while, after rising to a very high level of air dance flying speed, the 3 of them crossed a distance of tens of thousands of meters and formally arrived on Sky Island. Ronan did not use the submarine volcanic fountain to wash the boat up to Sky Island like Luffy and his party in the original book. He flew up directly, so he did not pass through the navigation channel of the White Sea and was not guarded by the White Sea. The old lady of the portal had a chance to squander money. He flew directly over the White Sea and came to the White Sea above, and landed in a clearing above the White Sea. Ronan did not choose to land in the city. He knew some of the rules of Sky Island. Those white berets were God's hands and were in charge of Sky Island. Stowaways like him would definitely be another place after being discovered. Feather, there is no need to waste time entangled with those guys. The entire Sky Island does not have the powerhouse Ronan values at all. According to time, the current god is Ganfuer. This guy is a good god, not as cruel as the Enel that will appear in the future. Enel should still be a mastermind in his hometown of Burka. In a few years, he will destroy Burka and transfer to this Sky Island, defeating Ganfer to steal the position of god. But that's not about Ronan's business. He is now visiting this Sky Island. By the way, this Sky Island is a very wealthy place. Shandola, once the home of gold, was washed up on Sky Island nearly 400 years ago. There is a lot of gold on it. I can't overdo it a little bit. Single quote. Ronan thought so, not ashamed at all. Where are we going next? Robin looked around curiously, but after watching for a while, they remembered that they didn't even know how to go here, and they didn't know where to go for archaeology next. It must be looking for some ancient monuments. This place has existed a long time ago, and there should be some ancient secret information. Orovia was also checking the surroundings, and said, yes, there are indeed some historical sites here, and, don't you know, there is a place here that was once part of Gaia Island, which was washed up on Sky Island hundreds of years ago, and there are many on it that used to be Gaia Island. There is still a lot of gold in monuments and buildings. Gaia Island was originally called the Land of Gold, but most of that gold is in the Shandora part, which happened to be washed up on Sky Island. Ronan said, what we are looking for is Shandora, the golden capital. Wow, gold, so to speak, we only need a little gold to be enough for future expenses. Robin said with bright eyes. Ronan couldn't help being speechless. Hey, you are Robin, how can you learn from Nami, love money so much? Where is the mature and elegant Robin? Ronan looked at the mature and elegant Orovia, and then at the childlike excited Robin. He couldn't help but fall into contemplation. Obviously, when he grows up in the future, Robin will be as mature and elegant as Orovia now, and with a gentle intellectual, but now she is still young and has not experienced a cruel childhood like the original book. Maybe her behavior has changed the direction of Robin's future growth, right? Regardless, Robin is happy. Let the cruel childhood go to hell. Advertisement. Ronan, since you know so much about Sky Island, do you know how to find those monuments? Orovia asked. Those monuments should be in the forest in the distance. The forest that is obviously different from other places is the part of the island that was washed up that year. On the Sky Island, it is also called the Holy Land, but this forest there are some Shandia people in those years who compete with the original Sky Island people for this Holy Land all the year round. Let's go straight to it. Ronan took the two to take off again from Angel Island and flew directly towards the forest. He saw some historical sites along the way. Not long after, Ronan's eyes lit up and saw a huge square stone monument. Yes, it is the stone monument that records the text of history. Hurrying down with the two women, Orovia and Robin started to study the stele with excited eyes, and Ronan left nothing to do. On the other side, the god of Sky Island, Ganfer received a report from the guards on the island of God. What? You said someone from Qinghai below broke into the island of the Holy Land God? Ganfer was taken aback, looking at the priest reporting in front of him. He was a little unbelievable. If someone broke in, how could the person guarding the passage below not know? How can one receive the news after one has entered the island of God? Yes, the priest said with a weird expression. I also happened to see them. They can actually fly, and they went directly to the holy ground through the sky, and they are still there. What are they doing? Ganfer asked quickly. Could it be that the helpers that the Sandia people got weren't it? They are a little weird. They didn't come into contact with the Shandias. Our people and the Shandias have been monitoring each other, as if the Shandias haven't found these stowaways. The Sandia haven't found it yet. Ganfer stayed in a daze and didn't understand what was going on, but it didn't matter. He had to go there to see in person what kind of Qinghai smuggler was able to fly directly to Sky Island, but don't get into trouble. That's great. Lead the way, take me over and see who it is. Okay, God. Chapter 81 Poseidon and Pluton. Excited Robin. Before the inscription in the historical text, Orovia and Robin were happily busy rubbing the inscription, while carefully analyzing the meaning of the inscription. It will take some time to do this. Ronan was a little boring. He wasn't very interested in archaeology. At this moment, Orovia over there exclaimed and Ronan hurriedly walked over. Ronan, look here, here. Orovia pointed to the bottom of the other side of the inscription, where it seemed that some information was recorded in the current writing. It seems to be the message left by Roger the One Piece King. Orovia said, carefully reading Roger's message, which turned out to be about Poseidon. Poseidon, the Fish-Man Island, Princess. Robin read slowly, but was a little confused. What do you mean? It seems to be related to ancient weapon. Orovia thoughtfully said. Ronan on the side knew in his heart that this was indeed the message left by Roger. It recorded some information about Poseidon. The Fish-Man Island mermaid princess was Poseidon, but the message was not too clear. It is indeed. Ronan said, Roger may know some ancient rumors and information. He must have been to Sky Island before and found this inscription, so he left a message here. Ronan, the One Piece actually left information about Poseidon. Then, can we look for Poseidon based on this information? Robin's eyes lit up and said, from the information, it seems that Poseidon is related to the Fish-Man Island. Orovia thoughtfully said, the princess is mentioned above. Does the mermaid princess of the Fish-Man Island know where Poseidon is? Ha ha. Ronan smiled when he heard the words. Actually, I know a little bit about Poseidon's information, and I don't need to guess based on these pieces of information. Hey, Ronan, do you know the details of Poseidon? Robin was taken aback. He looked at Ronan with unparalleled worship in his eyes. He felt that Ronan was too powerful. There was almost nothing he didn't understand, and even the details of ancient weapon were so clear. Advertisement. Yes. Ronan shrugged and said, actually, I know not only Poseidon's information, but also Pluton's information. Only Uranus doesn't know much about it. I only guess that Uranus may be in the hands of the world government and controlled by celestial dragons. Down. Uranus is too mysterious. Orovia shook his head and said, if one of the three ancient weapons is the most mysterious, it must be Uranus. There are few ancient books that record information about Uranus. Don't worry about Uranus. Since Uranus is so mysterious, we will not look for Uranus information for the time being. We will definitely have a chance in the future. Robin looked at Ronan and said, you can talk about Poseidon and Pluton first. All right. Ronan paused and said, about Poseidon, actually Poseidon is in the Fish-Man Island. What? It's on the Fish-Man Island. Robin's eyes widened, then his eyes lit up. Then, do we have a chance to get it? Hee, it is really possible to get her onto our boat, but Poseidon must agree to it. Ronan said with a smile. Hey, you mean, Poseidon is alone? Robin was taken aback. Could it be? Orovia's expression moved slightly, remembering something. Yes, the so-called Poseidon is the mermaid princess. Ronan explained. Each generation of Poseidon is the mermaid princess of that generation. After the mermaid is awakened, it has the ability to control all the sea kings in the world, so it is called Poseidon. And this generation of mermaid princesses seems to not yet born. Calculated by age, Shirahoshi should not be born until 2 years later. Not born yet, Robin wondered. What about the previous generation of princesses? The previous generation of mermaid princesses was not Poseidon. Only the mermaid princess who has awakened the ability to control the sea kings can be called Poseidon. Ronan said. The Fishman Island only has a mermaid princess awakened every hundreds of years. It's from Poseidon. Then, Ronan, how did you know that the unborn mermaid princess would awaken and become Poseidon? Robin asked a tricky question. Quote. Because according to time, it's time for the new Poseidon to be born in recent years. Ronan can only explain that, it is impossible to say that I have seen the story of One Piece. Okay, Robin nodded, then asked, what about Pluton? Advertisement. Didn't I say that when the time comes, a new ship will be built? Ronan said, I have Pluton's manufacturing drawings in my hands. So, the new ship we are going to build is Pluton. Robin's eyes widened again, and even Orovia on the side was taken aback. As an archaeologist, she knew that Pluton was made by ancient humans. The top ship, I heard that its main gun can destroy an island with one shot. It is too powerful. But they didn't expect that Ronan would have Pluton's manufacturing drawings in his hands. Not to mention that they didn't expect it, they didn't expect anyone in the world to come to this world. Yes, great, wow, our new ship turned out to be Pluton. Robin became excited when she heard the words, thinking that she could ride the Pluton across the sea in the future. She seemed very excited. Ronan, I didn't expect you to have Pluton's drawings in your hand. Orovia also sighed, but then she cautiously said, don't leak such news, at least not until it is made. Leakage, otherwise, it will definitely cause a lot of people to covet it. Yes, Pluton's news must not be leaked out at will. Robin also nodded affirmatively. It doesn't really matter. Ronan Haki waved his hand. Even if someone else knows it, what about it? Who else would dare to snatch it? Can it be snatched away? Haha, I'm not afraid of those greedy guys. Hearing Ronan's words, Orovia and Robin were speechless. They were right. They only thought that Pluton was important. The first thing they thought was confidentiality. But now, the person in front of them is Ronan. Who dares to grab his stuff? Those who dare to grab Ronan's things are probably not born yet. There are people who are not afraid of death to snatch it, and it is estimated that they can only hold hate on the spot, regret not at the beginning. After understanding this information, Orovia and Robin once again devoted themselves to the analysis and rubbing of the inscription, while Ronan was in a daze. And just when he thought nothing was happening, he suddenly heard a noise from a distance. When he turned his head, he saw a large group of people coming from a distance, and in the other direction, one in the sky was riding. The Pegasus people were also approaching, and a large number of heavily armed personnel appeared on the ground, looking murderous. It seems that it is to trouble us. Ronan's eyes moved and he came to trouble him. Hee, just to have some fun for yourself. Chapter 82 The Grudge Between Angel Island and Sandia. Spray each other. Damn, the people from Angel Island are here. I just said, it must be something they are doing. These damn it guys, one day we will retake Shandora. To the right of Ronan, a group of strong men and women looked viciously at the group of people who came across, and looked at each other fiercely. Sandia. To the left of Ronan, among a group of heavily armed people on the ground, one of the leaders frowned and looked at the opposite. It's not time to get involved with them. What is going on with the people smuggling from Shanghai? Not bad. Another person answered, it is still the most important thing to find out the smugglers. Then, what if the Shandia people do it first? The person behind him frowned. Did they dare? The leader said coldly, this time our god came with him. If it hadn't been for the god who insisted on wanting to resolve the issue peacefully between the two parties, we would have been able to bring these it's Shandia people together. Driven out of the Holy Land. In the sky, Ganfer looked down at the hostile men and horses below, and sighed. He also knew that this holy land that washed up on Sky Island hundreds of years ago is indeed the place where the Sandia people live. One party is not qualified to drive others away and cannot handle this matter by force. Ganfer asks himself that he is a kind god, he can't do things like that. After he took over the position of the gods, he has been working to eliminate the conflict and hatred between Angel Island and the Shandia people. Unfortunately, in the previous few hundred in the middle of the year, the two forces have been hostile for too long. They have been fighting and killing all the time. I don't know how many people have died. If you want to solve it peacefully, it is easier said than done. Ganfer cast his gaze to the location of Ronan and his dignified look. He heard the mention of his subordinates. These three people did not pass through the passage below, but directly flew up. Those with this ability. Stowaway is definitely not that simple, he must treat it with caution. Thinking of this, Ganfer took a deep breath and flew towards Ronan's direction. Sir, who are you? Ganfer's voice came from afar, and he didn't immediately start the fight without asking questions. Of course, this also has something to do with Ganfer's character. If Enel is now ruling Sky Island, maybe it's already at this time. A thunderbolt smashed it down. Of course, if it was Enel, and a thunderbolt could not kill Ronan, the end would be that Enel would be cold. Advertisement. Here, hearing the movement from a distance and the sound from the sky, Orovia and Robin also stopped their hand movements, or that they have almost resolved it, and they have done everything they need to do now. It seems that I have been discovered by others. I wonder if anything bad will happen. The two women thought with some worry. They had already come to Ronan's side. Orovia asked softly, Ronan, nothing will happen, right? These people seem to be menacing. Fine. Ronan waved his hand and said indifferently, the other party is an aboriginal here. We are not here to fight with them. As long as we speak well, there will be no accidents. Of course, if they want to do something, I will accompany them. Ronan's voice made no secret of it, and it passed through the ears of the two groups of people who had surrounded them from both sides, and it also passed through the ears of Ganfor who had fallen from the sky. Ganfor heard Ronan's words, his pupils shrank, and the other party seemed fearless. He seemed to be a very difficult person, but he didn't worry too much, as long as the other party didn't come to Sky Island to do damage. He would not be an enemy to the other party for no reason. Seeing the appearance of the other three, an adult with 2 children, it does not seem to be troublesome. Sir, can you have a good chat? Ganfor looked at Orovia solemnly, thinking that Orovia was the most powerful of the three. After all, Orovia was an adult. We are members of the Traveler Pirates. Orovia looked at Ganfor politely and said, this is our captain, and this is my daughter Robin. Orovia pointed to Ronan and Robin and said, the Traveler Pirate Group. Ganfor still knows a little bit about Qinghai. His mount is a bird that has eaten the fruit of a flying horse. It can be transformed into a flying horse and can naturally go in and out of Sky Island at will. And the sea below, but I haven't heard of any traveler pirates, it should be an unknown little pirate group. Ganfor wanted to go wrong. The last time he went to Gaia Island was several years ago. Ronan hadn't appeared in the world at that time. If you go to Gaia Island to inquire now, or read the newspaper news you will definitely find that the Traveler Pirate Group has become the most powerful and terrifying pirate group in the world, because it has a terrifying and powerful captain. Oh, it turned out to be a few members of the Traveler Pirate Group. Ganfor showed a slight smile. Don't know what happened to a few people suddenly coming to our Sky Island. Why don't you come here without saying hello to us? You know, this is our holy land. Outsiders cannot enter at will. As soon as they heard this, Ronan and the others didn't answer, and the Shandia people over there became angry. Advertisement. Shit. Ganfor, you fellow, this is the hometown of our Shandia people. When did it become your angel island? You will never succeed. Return to the Holy Land. To say that the Holy Land is also a holy land belonging to our Shandia people. Yes, you guys are too shameless. We will definitely take Shandora back. The Shandias sprayed at Ganfor and the opposing priest team, and the priests were flushed, extremely angry, and a little embarrassed. No idea. They can't refute. Because what the other party said was the truth, the Holy Land was indeed the ancestral land of the Shandia people. However, the land on Sky Island was originally very scarce, and there were no forests and plants of various colors. After the golden capital of Shandora was washed into the sky hundreds of years ago, the people on Angel Island immediately regarded it as a treasure, and directly regarded it as a treasure. The basis was his own, but I never expected that there would be a group of aboriginal Sandia on Sandora, so the battle for this golden city began, and it has continued for hundreds of years. Seeing that the priests were sprayed by the Shandias, Ganfor was also a little embarrassed, and quickly said to appease. You Shandias, it's not the time to talk about this, let's solve the problems that these people have smuggled from Qinghai. How about people talking about our affairs? Yes. The priest leader immediately agreed. Our grievances have been going on for hundreds of years. No matter what the final ownership of the holy place is, it is a problem between us. Now that outsiders are mixed in, we should all agree to the outside world. Not bad. Another priest also answered. You don't want to be picked up by others. Maybe these 3 guys are also here to snatch the Holy Land. Yes, I must have come to snatch the Holy Land. I came here without saying hello. I definitely have a ghost in my heart and a plot. The priests began to guide the contradiction to the 3 of Ronan. Don't say it, this idea is still very good. Effectively, immediately, the Shandia people cast unkind eyes on the 3 Ronan. Chapter 83 Haki is shocked. Sign into lion fruit. When Ronan heard this, he couldn't help turning over by a Kugan. Okay, I haven't spoken yet. You just did it like this. Can't you die? Ronan's face suddenly became cold, and the eyes of the priests became a little cold. Ganfor also noticed the change in Ronan's expression, and immediately cursed the priests in his heart. You guys who have not succeeded or failed, you are still thinking about not having an accident. You actually took the initiative to create the contradiction. Out. Shut up all to me. Ganfor blasted at the priests over there, and then hurriedly looked at Ronan's trio. Please don't mind the 3, they are just being silent. As long as the 3 explain their intentions, they can definitely solve the misunderstanding. Ganfor first classified the nonsense of the priests as a misunderstanding, in order to prevent some unnecessary things from happening. The priests heard Ganfor say this, but they were a little confused. In their opinion, these 3 stowaways, 2 children and an adult woman, what else are they afraid of? However, as a god, Ganfor said that they are not easy to refute. After all, the majesty of the gods on Sky Island is unparalleled. Not only did they dare not refute, but even the Sandia people over there were a little confused. Why didn't they understand what was going on? This is said to be unanimous to the outside world, and it is said that the smugglers from Qinghai are for Shandora, but Ganfor said that there is a misunderstanding, and what is going on? The Shandia people were a little dumbfounded. Several leaders glanced at each other, and they all saw a trace of doubt in each other's eyes. They suspected that it was the Angel Island who was swindling, and even Ganfor was swindling. But now, let's take a look again, and see how the Angel Island is going to deal with it. Besides, they also have to see what is going on with the 3 stowaways, let Ganfor be so careful to deal with it. Here, Ronan took a step forward and spoke. We are indeed from Gaia Island in Qinghai, and we did not have time to say hello to you. We just came here to study this stone tablet. We will leave later. Real. Ganfeur was a little surprised. He thought that the other party was here to covet gold, or came directly for the Holy Land, but Ronan did not expect Ronan to say that, which made him a little hard to believe. Why, don't you believe it? Ronan said calmly. I really don't believe it. Ganfeur's eyes were full of suspicion. Believe it or not has nothing to do with me. Now our business is finished, and it's time to leave. Please don't stop me. As Ronan said, he was about to take Orovia and Robin away. The ancient writings on the steel had been rubbed off by the two of them, and he could study it slowly after returning. No, you can't just leave like that. Over there, Ganfeur hadn't spoken, and some of the Shandia people spoke. The speaker was a leader. He looked at Ronan very suspiciously. I suspect that you came to Shandora with unruly things. It must be don't have a purpose. Let's talk about it. What are you going to do? Do you want to snatch our ancestral land? Advertisement. What the hell? Lousy is going to leave. Are you still entangled? Is there a brain problem? Where did so many come from with no purpose, and where did so many have bad intentions? Ronan has a black line. Is this forcing himself to shoot? Seeing that the Sandia people urged Ronan, the priests over there were secretly pleased, letting you Sandia people try it out first. After all, the other party can fly. The three of them came here and wanted to say they didn't believe it because they didn't have any whole cards. The reason why they were so despised before was because of the large number of people in this area. Not only were there more than a dozen priests, there were also white beret troops, and Ganfeur, the god. Ganfeur didn't expect that when people are busy, you will let them go. Why do you want to leave them for questioning? Everyone of Sandia, since these Qinghai people are leaving, let them go. Ganfeur felt tremendous pressure from Ronan, and he didn't want to be an enemy of Ronan. Ganfeur had never thought about using Ronan to deal with the Shandia people and then successfully seizing the Holy Land. He was still a kind god and couldn't do such shameless things. No. Hearing Ganfeur's words, the Sandia people felt that something was wrong. At the moment, they felt that Ronan and the three came to the Holy Land to be the conspiracy of Angel Island. These three must be your conspiracy. The lead Sandia stared at Ganfeur and said, you must be doing something to the Holy Land, right? Ganfeur's face was ugly. He didn't know how to explain, and explained that the Sandia would not listen at all. Okay. Is there enough trouble? Ronan has no patience to listen to these people babbled and crooked anymore. It's a waste of time. He doesn't know what these people think. A group of people who have no brains, dare to stop them if they want to leave now. Really live and die. Boy, you. The leading Sandia still wanted to speak, but saw Ronan's cold eyes, and swallowed the next words abruptly. I don't want to waste any more time. If you don't give way, don't blame me for being impolite. With that, Ronan didn't care what the other party thought. He stretched out his hand to hold Orovia and Robin. With a move, they were already flying straight to the distance, completely ignoring the ugly faces of others. No, want to run. Shoot and shoot them down. Just as Ronan was about to fly away, the Shandia people were already angry. They thought Ronan was a crime-fighting escape, and immediately took the weird Sky Island weapon in his hand and shot in the direction of Ronan. Advertisement. Court death. Conqueror's Haki. Boom. Ronan looked cold in the air. Without saying anything, he was irritated and opened Conqueror's Haki directly to the ground indiscriminately. These guys really irritated him, and they were completely shocked. Without giving a lesson, he really thought he was. It's so messy. Under Conqueror's Haki, everyone was covered by Haki. Almost everyone was stunned and unconscious by Haki. Only one Ganfeur was still struggling to support him. Although he was not in a coma, he had almost completely lost his mobility and was suppressed by Haki. Lying on the ground, unable to move, he watched Ronan leave in amazement. Sure enough, I know that people who dare to come here so rashly will definitely not be that simple. These people are really annoying. In the sky, Robin hugged Ronan's arm and said silently. They were all going to leave, but these people were still entangled. It was simply. Now they can stop. Ronan snorted, ignoring these comatose guys, but faintly glanced at Ganfeur, who was lying on the ground, without paying attention, and took the two of them away. Right. Gold. Before he flew far, Ronan slid a large gold disc on the ground. It seemed that it had been cast and placed something. It didn't matter what it was, the piece of gold belonged to him. Ronan landed on the ground, waved his hand, took away the golden disc hidden in the forest, and directly put it in the storage ring. Robin and Orovia who were watching were both stunned, completely unaware that Ronan had put things. Where is it? Regarding the curiosity of the two, Ronan only said back to explain, and did not say much. But before leaving Sky Island, he remembered one more thing. How could he forget to sign in when he came to Sky Island? It's all because of those guys who provoked me and almost forgot such an important thing. As a result, Ronan immediately called the system to sign in his mind, and then left with the two of them after signing in. Ronan was a little surprised by the reward he received for signing into the entire Sky Island this time. Hey, this time the reward turned out to be lion fruit. Yes, the reward for signing into Sky Island this time turned out to be the lion fruit of the golden lion who was killed by Ronan before. It was indeed a bit unexpected for Ronan. He knew that after the death of the person who owns Devil Fruit, the original fruit will not fall to the spot at that time, but will disappear, and then appear in other places around the world until it is eaten and owned by another person again. Ronan also wondered if there would be a chance to get lion fruit in other places in the future, but he didn't expect to get it through sign in as simple as that. It was a surprise. But, who is this lion fruit for? Chapter 84 Burka encountered a thunderous blow from Enel. This time, Ronan was a little surprised to get lion fruit, but he was not in a hurry to let anyone use it. He and Robin already have it, so they can only give it to Orovia, Elena and Karoman, but don't worry for the time being. It's not too late to think about it after getting the 5 devil fruits compensated by the world government. Among the 5 devil fruits, there are 3 Logia fruits. You can choose one for each person at that time. Now, Ronan flew over Sky Island with the 2 of them, ready to return directly to Gaia Island. To be honest, this trip to Sky Island was smooth, but Ronan was a little unhappy when he was intercepted by Angel Island and Sandia. Originally, he wanted to get rid of all those guys in anger. But after thinking about it, I don't need to be so murderous. If I kill people at every turn, everyone will see themselves as the demon in the end, and everyone will be the enemy of himself. Although he is not afraid, there is no need to go. Annoying people, Ronan didn't want to be like that. In that case, his reputation would be too bad. Ronan, shall we fly for a while? Robin saw that Ronan was about to fly back to Gaia Island, and saw that it was still early, and the giant wave must have not been repaired yet. Maybe Irina, I am also busy with my own affairs, and now I am idle when I go back, I can only go shopping and so on. But flying in the sky is very fresh at this moment. Robin still wants to play in the sky for a while, so he proposed to fly everywhere. Do you still want to play around? What's fun in the sky? Ronan said helplessly, but did not refuse, so he changed direction and flew towards the distant sky. Hey, it's fun, Robin said with a smile. His eyes lit up suddenly, and he looked at a rainbow in the sky not far away and shouted, "Look, Ronan, Mom, look over there, what a beautiful rainbow. Shall we go over there and have a look?" Ronan, is it okay to fly this way? Ignoring Robin's yelling, Orovia asked Ronan worriedly. It's okay. Ronan knew that Orovia was caring about himself, but his air dance ability has now been upgraded to level 12. There is no problem with flying in such a short period of time, and he can even hold on for a long time. Then, let's go over and take a look at the rainbow. Orovia also looked at the rainbow, with a hint of joy in her eyes. This is the first time she has experienced this in the sky, but she doesn't look like it. Robin yelled like that, but he was very calm. Okay, then you grasp it firmly, Ronan said. He also clasped the waists of the 2 of them, brushed them to speed up the flight, and quickly flew toward the direction of the rainbow. The place where the rainbow is located seems to be very close. In fact, Ronan also flew for about 10 minutes before arriving. The place was far away from Gaia Island, and there was no one. Over 10,000 meters of the sea, a rainbow straddled the white clouds and exposed the corners, reaching the vast ocean below. What? Advertisement. At this moment, Ronan suddenly gave a horror, looking at the huge cloud at the starting point of the rainbow a little strangely. It turned out to be a sky island. Hey, Ronan, look, there seems to be a sky island there too. Robin also found the problem, staring wide-eyed at the cloud layer where the rainbow starts. In the cloud layer over there, some buildings faintly appeared. It really seems to be Sky Island. Orovia was also surprised and said, in the sky here, in addition to the previous Sky Island, there is actually a second Sky Island. Is this sky a place where Sky Island specifically stops? This Sky Island. Ronan thought for a moment, and an inexplicable smile appeared in his eyes. I think I know. What do you know? Robin looked at Ronan with curiosity in his eyes. This Sky Island is called Burka. It is a sky island close to Angel Island. I don't know if there is any historical text on it. Or, let's go up and take a look. Ronan said. Can you? Orovia was also quite heart-drawn. Her lifelong dream was to analyze the historical text. Just now, she printed a copy of the historical text of Angel Island. Is it possible to get another copy now? Thinking of this, she was full of joy, feeling that the previous year's gains were not as many as today's, which is really amazing. Sure, Orovia and Robin wanted to visit Burka. Ronan certainly did not agree. Except for one Enel on this island, nothing could threaten his existence. Even if it was Enel, Ronan was not afraid of him. Maybe the opponent's thunder fruit is a small threat to Ronan, but it will only be useful if it hits Ronan. Enel has an observation Haki, and Ronan himself has it, and he also has various other skills. Where is an Enel being considered by Ronan? Besides, the current Enel is not as strong as it was many years later, and the use of thunder fruit cannot be too powerful. At this moment, Ronan still has an idea in his heart. He used to get Golden Lion's lion fruit through the sign-in system at Sky Island. Then, after he kills Enel, can he get thunder fruit after signing in? Advertisement. This is a very powerful fruit. It is even recognized as the strongest Logia fruit in the entire One Piece world. Ronan still wants to control such a powerful fruit, even if he can no longer eat the second fruit, he can give it to others. With this idea, Ronan quickly flew the 2 to the Burka Sky Island, but what he saw was a shocking picture. The entire Burka Sky Island almost showed an incomparable sense of decay. A huge city sitting on the clouds below was in dilapidated condition, and even some houses had collapsed and no one had repaired it. It's not that nobody, but the people on this Sky Island are all yellow-faced and thin, walking through the ragged streets like a walking dead. Even if there are some old people, they all have their eyes curled up in the street with no spirit. In the corner, some children hide behind the adults with fear, and look at a group of brawny patrolling men passing by with a look of fear. What's happening here? Robin and Orovia both looked at this scene with puzzled expressions. This Sky Island seemed to have had a big battle, but it actually declined like this. Maybe something happened, Ronan said, and he led the two of them to slowly fall from the sky, ready to land directly on the streets of the city. But at this moment, the brawny men patrolling on the ground also noticed the arrival of Ronan's trio. Their complexion suddenly changed, shouting something loudly in their mouths, and then staring closely at Ronan's trio. It was also at this time that Ronan's complexion changed abruptly, and with a low sigh, he hugged Orovia and Robin tightly, and then a purple halo lit up on his body, firmly protecting the three of them. Boom! A huge silver-white thunder fell from the sky, and blasted towards the three of Ronan with a bang, without giving anyone any reaction time. Click. Boom. Enel, you wanna die. Chapter 85 Ronan's Wrath. Domineering and arrogant Enel. Ronan guarded the two women and blocked the horrible blow with armament Haki, but he was also uncomfortable. He said that among his Conqueror's Haki, he had the lowest level of armed skill. Although he successfully blocked the thunder blow, however, Ronan himself was also affected. There was a salty taste from his throat, which was obviously injured. Ronan's face was gloomy and terrifying. Thinking of him coming into this world, except for his lack of strength at the beginning, he had to be counseled. However, as his strength increased, he has never encountered such a thing until now, even more so. No injuries, this is the first time he has been injured. In fact, if he was alone, this thunder might not hurt him, but Orovia and Robin were there, and he had to be distracted to protect them, so he was shaken by the thunder's internal organs, and suffered some minor injuries, but because of this, Orovia and Robin didn't have any injuries. Ronan, are you okay? Ronan, how are you? Orovia and Robin were in a trance just now because of the roar of thunder. Now that Ronan landed on the ground, they finally returned to normal. Once God saw a trace of bloodline at Ronan's quarrel, their complexion changed drastically, and he hurriedly asked Luo. It doesn't matter whether Nan. It's okay, just a little injury. Ronan wiped the corners of his mouth with his hands and looked at the bloodline on his fingers. His eyes became more cold and severe. This Enel, without saying hello, gave himself a thunder. This account, I have to be with him later. Forget it, don't think that you are used to being the king and hegemony in this Sky Island, you can be arrogant. Ronan, are you really okay? Orovia was still looking at Ronan worriedly, but her heart was already full of regret. She had known that she would encounter danger here, and she said before that she would not let Ronan carry anything. They came here. Robin was even more regretful. He looked at Ronan with some anxiety. I'm sorry Ronan, I shouldn't be so headstrong, we shouldn't have come here, because you encountered such a danger. I know, if it is not for protection me and Mom, you will definitely not get hurt. It has nothing to do with you. Ronan said sternly. It's my own reason, and my lack of vigilance has caused the situation like this to happen now. Then, Ronan, let's get out of here now. Robin watched the group of brawny patrolling men coming toward here aggressively, and the spike-like weapon in his hand was aimed at this side. Said in a panic immediately. She was originally confident in Ronan, but now she actually saw Ronan injured under the opponent's attack, which made Robin a little uneasy at the moment. Ronan has never been injured before, even if he faced Marine 2 before. None of the Admiral-level combat team members have been injured, but now they are injured. What is this concept? Before the opponent showed up, he had already injured Ronan. Doesn't this mean that the opponent is not only stronger than the two Marine Admiral-class fighters, but even more powerful than Ronan? Advertisement. Therefore, Robin is full of ideas about how to escape at the moment. Orovia had the same idea, and said, Ronan, the people in this place seem to be very scary. The thunder was so terrible just now, even you were injured. Why don't we leave now? Do not. Ronan waved his hand, and his face calmly said, don't be afraid, don't worry, I said that before, it was because of my lack of vigilance, but now, something like that just now won't happen again. You will stay here later. It's okay behind me, don't be afraid, I will handle everything. Huh, it hurts my Ronan, but it's not so easy to end. Ronan said in a low voice. A hello without a strike, just a thunder will come down directly, Enel, you are dead. ... At this moment, Enel is in a huge building. This building is the largest building in the city. It is located on the edge of the city, and some distance from the center of the city where Ronan is located. Standing at the top of the building, Enel stood proudly and arrogantly, looking coldly at the large number of people in the huge building below. These people are strong people in the city, including men and women, and some powerful craftsmen and boats. He was summoned to build a boat for him. After the boat was built, he left this Sky Island. He knew that there was another Sky Island about hundreds of miles away from Burka, and that Sky Island was better than Burka. Being richer, more gold, and making the ship he wants to build even more powerful. At that time, once my arc motto is built, it is me, the great god Enel, who will go to Qinghai below to completely rule the world. Enel is full of ambition. He feels that such a great person is impossible to be trapped on the small Sky Island. Only the Grand Line, the four oceans and the huge red line below are the ones who dominate. The boundary of the world. Enel thought, lifted his head slightly, and looked into the distant city. There was a strange look in his eyes, and he muttered to himself, you actually blocked my blow. Haha, This Qinghai native who suddenly appeared seems a little bit strange. Things, that's all, it's really boring to supervise these untouchables building ships during this time, so let's play with these little shrimps from Qinghai. I hope he can bring me some joy. With a flash of lightning, Enel has disappeared from the spot. And below, it seems that Enel's departure was discovered, and the trembling craftsmen and boatsmiths were greatly relieved, and some people couldn't help showing a bit of hatred in their eyes. Snapped. What are you doing? Work for me. Don't think that if Master Enel is not here, you will be lazy. Suddenly, a whip was slammed on the back of a mature man, and a deep blood stain was drawn out. A strong man in armor glared at these craftsmen fiercely, and the craftsmen hated and feared to continue. Get to work. On the other side, in the center of the city, the group of brawny patrolling men had come to the opposite side of Ronan's trio. They also looked at Ronan's trio with a vicious expression, and the words in their mouths were even worse. Advertisement. Where did the three untouchables come from? Don't you dare to go wild in the land of Lord God Tier Spirit Enel, don't you want to live? The leading burly man was holding a sharp spear, and when he spoke, he stabbed Ronan. Obviously, he was usually used to domineering, supported by Enel. They are on this island of Burka, which indeed made countless Sky Island. The existence of fear of the residents. However, this time they faced Ronan. Ronan, who was called the son of the devil by the world government in the lower realm. Then, Ronan flashed a cold light in his eyes, looked at the stabbed spear coldly, and drew in a low voice, I'm looking for death. Mera-mera Fruit, burn it for me. Boom. A soaring flame swept past, and dozens of brawny men armed with spears were instantly burned to death by the terrifying flames of Mera-mera Fruit, and they couldn't even make a scream. This scene made those peeking at Burka Island not far away. The people, one by one, fell into shock and sluggishness. Okay. Awesome. Here, where did this person come from? He actually killed Enel's guards instantly, killing more than a dozen. Gosh, could it be that we are saved? No. Someone suddenly showed a look of fear. No matter how powerful he is, how can he be the terrifying Enel's opponent? Look, Enel is here. The eyes of all the people suddenly condensed, one by one, all with a color of fear. They looked at the place where an electric light flashed, where a stalwart figure suddenly appeared. Papa papa, papa papa. Not bad strength. When Enel appeared, his expression was very calm. He was not angry at all because Ronan had killed more than a dozen of his guards. Instead, he was quite generous. Looking at Ronan with a look of interest. Child, you are a bit interesting. Success aroused my interest, so let's do it. Give you a chance to surrender to me, now kneel down and chant the name of Enel, vowing to surrender to me forever. Be my slave forever, and I will spare you not to die. This is the gift of the great Enel to you. Don't hurry up and kneel and kowtow.